It's time to call this meeting to order. This is the fiscal year 2026-27 budget workshop for the City of Callaway Board of Commissioners. It is Tuesday, July 28th, 2026, 1 p.m. If y'all will stand with me, Commissioner Pelletier will give the invocation. Commissioner Ayers, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Lord, we thank you for allowing us to gather today and help us make decisions during this budget period to benefit those who live in City of Callaway and our citizens. We thank you for our first responders, and we ask you bless them and their families. Please keep them safe and let them go home at the end of the day. We thank you for our citizens and employees that make Callaway a great place to be, and pray you bless them with peace and success. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, please do a roll call.
Commissioner Birdsell.
Present.
Commissioner Griggs.
Here.
Commissioner Pelletier.
Here.
Commissioner Ayers.
Here, ma'am.
Mayor Henderson.
Here. Okay, public participation. I think everybody that's here probably has been here before, so you know the public participation rules. Typically, we do after every agenda item. We've only got one agenda item, so at different times through, we get to different funds or something, I'll try to periodically see if anybody has any comment that they want to make. And you know the drill. If I call for public participation, raise your hand, come to the podium, state your name and address for the record if you so choose, and then you'll have your 3 minutes to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. So with that said, we will go on to that agenda item, the draft budget for fiscal year 2027, and I'll turn it over to these two gentlemen sitting here before us.
Well, we are here again for what will be my 9th budget with y'all. First up, staff wants to make a quick statement and comment to y'all. We appreciate everything that y'all do. We hope that we continue to be transparent enough for y'all to understand what we're trying to do with the budget every year. And of course, although we are going to have inflation, and we do see that, our goal is to try to start working, and this budget will reflect a lot of the things, not only in this meeting, but also in the next meeting, our regular commission meeting, as we're trying to prepare for what might potentially happen with the property taxes. We stated that we're going to maintain at 2.7. I'm still adamantly committed that we will maintain at 2.7. We do not want a knee-jerk, and we will absorb those property tax losses. How they'll be absorbed, it's going to be through less capital expenditures, which is some of the things that we're doing in Tim's budget this year. As we prepare down the road to make sure we have adequate and ample reserves for the city, we're really, really well on reserves. And I think that'll bode well for us, because even with our high surplus of reserves, if we needed to dip into it in the future, key word is if.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have any intentions of going after our reserves. But it is there for us if we need it, and we have way more than enough. I think we're over 30% reserves. State requires 17. Before Adam came to us, me and David had sit down and we had ran a lot of figures, and we estimated that we needed to be somewhere between 27 and 28% to remain solid through a Category 5 storm like we experienced. Of course, we had the experience going into this, so we feel like, on average, a good 27 to 28% is adequate enough to maintain reserves. And I'm not saying that to say we're spending reserve. I just want y'all to understand that this city's financial position is excellent. We're going to continue to maintain. This is what we've done for 9 years straight. And we know that we did not have, we had to rebuild our reserves. One thing that I think is fair to say is only in solid waste have we ever budgeted to fund reserves. And if y'all remember, that was whenever we raised the rate, we said we would put $75,000 a year in solid waste going towards the reserves to purchase trucks for capital later on down the road. But other than that, We have never budgeted reserves. We just don't. What we do is we zero budget, and then these guys right here bust their rear end all year long, getting projects under budget, keeping capitals low, keeping operating expenses low, and at the end of the year, that money rolls into reserves. And that's where we are today. It's not for anything that these budgets have done. These budgets have given them ample abilities to run their departments effectively and efficiently, and then at the end of the year, I've always told them, we do not play the use it or lose it game. That's not the way it is. We will give you what you need, do the best you can, and at the end of the year, we will roll the money into reserves. And that's what we have maintained and continue to do. And that's going to be the same way we're going to reflect this budget. It's going to be the same way we're going to reflect future budgets. We're going to continue doing that because we're in a great spot. We do not expect to ever touch reserves, but they are there if we need them, and we do have more than enough. And that's not that you ever have enough in reserves, but at some point, you can just have too much money, and we need to look at that. And that's even with all of our capital projects that we have going on. Fortunately, we are still maintaining that we are getting the most bang for our buck because we are matching most of our major projects with grant funds. And that's reflected over previous commissions where we received another $6 million in funds. Part of that was budgeted, part of it wasn't, so that will reflect in. This budget will show a reduction compared to last year's general fund. Now, that's not from us cutting the budget by 10%. The budget is 10% lower. And we have cut in certain areas as much as we feel like we can. We just don't want to throw ourselves in a position where it's run back. Because when I do come back to you and ask you for money, it comes from reserves. And we don't like coming up here and asking, hey, we've under budgeted on this and we need to do it. If we can't pull it off, then, so many municipalities right now are screaming, we're going to hit reserves, we're going to hit reserves. We do not want to hit reserves. And we don't think or even feel like we have to. Have I said anything that you do not agree with?
No, you're good.
Okay. This is Adam, not Josh. I still call him Josh all the time. So, and it's becoming a big joke. But especially when other staff members are doing it also. So that being said, Adam has prepared a presentation. It's just how many slides have we got? We have nine quick slides, do some quick overviews of it, and then we can dive into the individual budgets.
Okay, the budget overview. This budget maintains services, so we didn't cut anything. It invests in infrastructure. It's fiscally responsible, and it is with a stable tax rate, which is our tax rate we're going to roll over into the 26, 27 year. This budget was made with collaboration from directors and supervisors, so I actually sit down with all of them, the city manager and I, and we talk about it, so it just wasn't one person making this budget. So this has input from the people actually doing the work. Ad valorem tax, the rate remains at 2.7 mils. We estimated $2,769,336. The CRA, it's going to collect $510,704. We'll collect $1,070,511 from the county for CRA. So our ad valorem used for operating is going to be roughly $2,258,632. Utility rates, they've gone up, and I expect they're going to continue to do that, but they're very minimal, 5 cents for the county increase and 15 cents for the sewer increase for that. We're renewing our efforts to replace aging meters, so we're going to, we budgeted a little over $400,000. We split that with water and sewer, and that's been, from my understanding, a project from the council to do. It's a big undertaking. It's a lot of money. And what I kind of did here was, sewer is great. We have plenty of reserve in there, and we have enough money to kind of cover our operating expenses over there. Water is a little tighter for us in the aspect of, if you look at it, I put some numbers down here. I don't know if you can see them on there, but our water revenue is expected to be $3,561,927. The cost of that water from the county costs us $1,453,517. We have debt principal of our debt from the water department at $432,500. Interest for that debt is $223,816. And then to split the cost for the UV out of the general fund, there's a transfer of $380,925. There's also $380,000 coming out of sewer to help pay for UV. And our water salaries, and this isn't benefits, this is just straight regular salaries, is $442,560. So what's left out of that water is $628,609, and that's to operate, for benefits, and for capital outlay. This isn't I'm not asking to raise rates or anything. I just want to keep this on the back of your mind that it's a very tight ship we're running in the water department mostly. So
What does UB stand for?
utility billing. So we pay for that out of the general government, and then they offset.
Cost for it.
Yeah.
Three departments.
This year, our health insurance rose 5% of the 5% increase, which is really low compared to what's been around, but they come to us with a higher number, and I think Eddie originally asked for 2.5%, and we got it down to 5. So
It started out at 12.
yeah, so it was a good thing. But just to kind of give you some numbers here, in Florida, small businesses average about 12 to 18%, and the marketplace for ACA is roughly about 31.5% increases this year. The city portion that we pay for employees went from $625.33 to $655.66, and we were still able to keep that 70% cost share for the Employee Plus program. So when they had their children and wife on here. Insurance costs, this is for the general liability insurance, it went up 2.5%. Auto went up 20%, it was a huge jump. Property actually went down 12%. That's our largest expense in that area, so we'll see a big deduction, which will help offset some of these other costs. And we'll still go up, but it'll help offset that. And we don't have our numbers for the general property or auto final yet. These are just the, what they said was going to be the percentages of up and down. So, and then the 5% yearly increase for the sheriff's department contract. So that's also budgeted in there as well. Capital improvement and CRA. This budget includes 9 CIP grant funded projects. So that is $10,656,641 of projects that we are getting, the revenue is coming from the state or some kind of grant, either federal or state grant. The CRA has one grant funded in there, and that's the Bertha Spillway that he actually just, I guess, got approved for not too long ago. That's $1,443,279. So major city improvements and rehab is being funded by state and federal grants, which is, again, out of all the cities, this is a huge number for Callaway, I think. Also, I want to put some economic conditions in here because it kind of, if we're looking at this budget and we're saying, okay, fuel's a little higher, or, maybe the cost of cleaning uniforms or something, but I just want to kind of give you some economics in here. The CPI as of February, which is the Consumer Price Index, as of February 2026, was positive 3.7% year over year, so that's just rising. The national cost of living is 2.8. That's your cost of living is 2.8. We budgeted in here a 3% increase to salaries and benefits, which is budgeted in here and it's in here, so it's 3%. So you can see it's about 0.02% more than their cost of living that's in here. This budget includes a 10.9% reduction in city operating expenditures throughout the whole city. We've cut it about 11%. Most of that is from capital expenditures, things like that. So our capital improvement projects, again, they're just funded through grants and matching. So we're very proud of that. I think everybody in the city of Callaway should be proud of the fact that we're getting all this money to be able to do these things. Without it, we wouldn't be able to do those things. So this is the end of it, but I just want to caveat, I'm new, okay, so be gentle. And the thing is we usually, I love this. This is the whole reason why I wanted to do this. I love budgeting, and I love that whole side of it. But I usually start about January, and I'm sure David did too at some point, but as of the 15th of this month, I've been here for 2 months. Getting this out with Eddie's help and the department head's help, it's a huge thing. So there is going to be some errors in here. So please, it's fixable. The numbers are what's really important. The notes on the side is just things. But David was a whiz when it comes to Excel, so when you look at this budget, this 40 pages or whatever you have here, every different page has something that relates to this page, so it was very difficult to, A, understand what he was doing, which I think we did, and B, to get it all plugged in to where it made sense and we could make this budget. Some errors that are on here as of right now, which was brought to my attention, was the capital budget expenditure is missing the Ford F-150 truck for code enforcement. It's $42,120. It is budgeted. I just left it off of the thing, and I do apologize. It's fixed. It'll be fixed for the next one. And the personnel budget page shows the general government salary and wages on there. We actually took that out. It was a split. Salary, but we're actually paying for it out of one department, so we took that out. So those numbers you see on there are just they're money for, like, if we do put something there for bonuses. So, but I'm
But
gonna.
it doesn't reflect.
It doesn't. They're not money we're spending.
It shows it there, but it's, just because it's showing it there, it's not actually reflected in the actual budget.
Yeah, so the general government is not spending any money on salaries or anything. So I will correct that on the next one, so again, it doesn't affect anything that we're gonna talk about here today. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be happy to answer those, or we can just dive into this.
I did have one question. You said you're going to take the water meters and split it in half, 200 in one, 200 in the other?
Yes.
Can you put 300 into sewer and 100 into water to help balance that a little bit?
So those are proprietary funds, and they, when you audit those things, those need to see, this is what we spend in sewer, and this is what we spend in water. And
Right.
split it 50/50 makes more sense, because the water meter is how we gauge the sewer price as well. So
Right.
normally, we weren't doing that up until this year. So
that means in the past, we've paid for them strictly out of
We
water.
pay strictly out of water.
So if you took the amount you took out of water and kind of put it in sewer this year,
It has to be an equal split.
it would be equal, because now you're taking the past and
So we are,
curing the problem.
I agree with you, and we were actually talking about it the other day, because we're actually in the process of buying another, I want to say $80,000 or $90,000 worth of, out of this budget. So we are actually, I told them to go ahead and buy it out of the sewer department, because we haven't split anything with that yet. So yes, so all the meters that we're buying going forward will come out this year, will come out of the sewer budget. But going forward, it'll be a 50/50 split, so when he buys 100,000, they'll go to both departments.
So
Sounds
let me
good.
quickly get everyone else up to speed. Water meters are becoming a big deal. And it's just because, if y'all remember the changeover that we went through, those meters have a 10 to 15-year life cycle. We're getting towards the end. Bill, when did we put all those in?
Josh,
12, 13 years ago.
So we're starting to see meters are going blank. When they go blank, we have to go trade them out. They put new meters in. Well, these meters were put in over a 3-year period. So we're getting toward the end of life. We're starting to see more and more meters, and we're having to adjust to get meters changed out as quickly and as efficiently as possible. But that means we need more meters than what we've put in the past. So upon sitting down and going through and looking at the number of meters that we had, the question came up of, why aren't we using sewer money? Because the sewer is being billed off of the amount of water that's running through the meter. I did check with legal counsel. Kevin said, yes, we ought to split it. So in this year's budget, we've actually added an additional $210,000 into water, $210,000 into sewer as an equal split to purchase meters. If you look at the overall budget, we're sitting, in the negative a little bit on both of those. It's basically because we're buying meters. And we need these meters so we can get them changed out efficiently. And these are the new meters, by the way.
And on the new development, we're getting reimbursed, right? These developers are going to pay for our meters,
It
correct?
will be in the cost of impact fees, yes.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure that we're getting our money back
Well, we're getting it back from new development and new construction.
yeah, but
We're not getting it back, yes,
from
all these
residential.
meters that are going
Right,
bad.
I understand that, yeah.
And so that's why we've had to up the costs, so that
Right.
we can cover those, and we can have ample meters in the city.
Well, I believe that you will get your money back with what we're doing here with these other things, because what we're billing and what we're receiving is off, is skewed a little bit. I mean, you could call it cost of water, but I think when you do 600 meters a year, especially the ones that aren't reading correctly, I think you'll see your income will go up. And that's one reason why if you're gonna spend the money, this is what you do it with, because that's where your money's coming from. And I think that maybe we're so lopsided in the sewer and water is because we're having so many meters that aren't reading correctly, so.
Well, to
we're
know.
doing the right thing.
If they're not reading correctly, don't start talking to meters about me. But if they're not reading correctly, we should correct that utility billing.
Real quick, okay. There's some really wrong statements over here. Hold on.
Don't get me excited about meters.
What's happening with those is if we have a meter that goes blank,
Right,
it shows on our report as blank.
Right.
At which point, we do a yearly average.
thank you.
And that average is what's billed out. So the discrepancies are gonna be minimal at best on the billing side of it. That's Lisa's department. This is something that me and her and Thomas are constantly working on. And in fact, you know, we have people now that are specifically labeled to change out meters.
Right.
Because we're getting, so that we can, you know, there for a minute we started getting behind because it was like, where did all these meters come from? Basically, then it was like, oh my goodness, we're hitting end of life, and we're starting to see
Right.
these increases. But no, just because your meter goes blank, you are still billed the average, and when the meter gets changed out, it gets reprogrammed, and we're fine.
Yeah, that answered my question.
We're not gonna see
I
any,
was gonna ask, even though it went blank, does it continue to record the usage? But I guess not.
No,
no, if it goes blank, that means the battery's dead.
Okay.
So these batteries are internal to these meters, they're sealed, we can't change them, we can't do anything about it, you have to change the meter out.
Gotcha.
one question too, the problem you're having on the water side is, and maybe we're starting to get a handle on it, is all these water leaks, major water leaks. And we're having to suck that up.
I don't think that's amounting to a lot. I mean, yes, we have leaks.
It is, but,
Everybody has leaks, all cities have leaks. I mean,
yeah, well,
I was talking to a gentleman the other day who called in, he lives in Panama City. They told him he was on a list and it would be fixed within 6 months.
Jeez.
And we're sitting here going, we don't like for stuff to go more than a week. And we keep an ongoing thing. Now that doesn't mean that something won't go past a week. That just means something probably happened, like if we have a force main break or, you know, if we have a major water leak or they're having to catch up on another project to get something where it needs to be, then yeah. But all leaks are looked at that day, they're prioritized. Major leaks will get fixed immediately, so our system.
not if it's on the property side and then they leave and don't pay for it. And we've had quite a few of those $1,000 come in front of us.
We have had some of those, yeah.
Right.
We have got really good control over that, but some of those have to do with the medical issues that we kind of have when it comes to some that we just don't make. We just don't. But other than that, I mean, I think we're doing pretty well on our losses.
It's all part of this building.
Compared to what it used to be, in fact, I would tell you, compared to even the last city I was at, we are way ahead of what we normally see.
I've talked to
And we're
them.
steadily trying to get better. Some of the things, and I mean, not to go deep into it, but, you know, a big issue, if y'all remember, was water leaks in the same spot. We don't even patch anymore. We're running new service lines every time. And it's because of the aging infrastructure that we have in there. We have lines that have been in there 30 years, they're just starting to get brittle. So rather than fix a brittle line, we go pull it out and we run on new service lines. That does take more time also. So we have to play that game of how are we doing versus not having to make people wait long times. Nobody wants water running in front of their house. And so that's some of the things that we're doing. But that is actually a major thing, is when we're out there and we're now replacing service lines instead of putting a patch on a broken line. And that's where you were getting your redundancy on breaks in the same spots. They go down and put a patch on it. That's great. 6 inches back and breaks again.
I have another question, if I could, on the overview. What's causing our auto increase of 20%? Are we having that many vehicle accidents? And increases of insurance is driven by numbers of accidents. I know of 2 this past year.
Let me get the numbers on that and find out what's driving that.
You know, because I know of 2 accidents that you all not told me that I ran into. So I don't know how many more accidents we had, but it's kind of troubling to me that our auto insurance has gone up 20%. Something is driving that. I know we've had associates, we've had, talking about Walmart, we've had employees stopped for speeding. You know, if they got a ticket, was that reported, and that would affect our rates, you know.
Every time one of our people is stopped, the sheriff's office calls me.
Right, but I understand, but something's driving that 20%.
And they did not receive a ticket.
They didn't receive a ticket?
They did not receive a ticket.
You take driving privileges away from them?
No, we watch your GPS.
Okay, all right.
We can go through and mark them, and we watch your GPS.
But,
Because that system lets me know how fast they're driving,
Right.
and we can start monitoring them.
Who is our insurance company for auto?
It's FMIT,
Yeah,
FMIT.
Florida Municipal Insurance Trust.
right,
It's in the Florida League of Cities.
yeah, but something's driving that 20%.
There's a group coverage too that we're in, so I will look and see what's.
Yeah, to get
I'll
back.
get y'all a report back on that.
Appreciate it. And then the last question I had on the overhead, I guess you answered that. How did you figure pay increase this year? Did you just decide to give everybody a pay increase, or do you use, what method did you use?
We looked at the cost of living. We set it at 3%. I sent y'all an email out yesterday if y'all received that. And anytime y'all want to jump to the salaries, I figured that's where we'd start first.
Right. But we talked about procedures on salary increases.
Did you receive the email yesterday?
No, I was working till 1 this morning.
Okay.
No, I didn't get hold on. Merit Pro, okay, I see it.
Yesterday, I sent y'all out a procedure. We've met multiple times. The mayor was in on actually one of the meetings.
Okay.
Department heads have sit around and we've talked about it.
All right,
So what I've done was I sent each one of y'all the evaluations that we use in general government. I also sent you the evaluations. There are actually more evaluations in the fire department because theirs is mission driven. So
Right.
it's different than the general government.
okay,
We went through, we looked at wording, common terminology, the different categories that it would fit, and we came up with a series of 10, basically 10 criteria, and that's what I said
Okay.
now. And of those criteria, you can see that 1 is marginal. You have no 1s, they don't make it past their 90 days. 2 to 3, generally those don't make it through 90 days. I mean, we know when employees come in. Then you've got a 4, 5, or 6, which is satisfactory, that's your average employee. 7 and 8 is your ones that are going above and beyond, doing what it takes. And 9 is distinguished, and if anybody receives a 9, they gotta write a 400-word theme on why this person receives a 9.
Okay.
And that's the way it works. So, one of the things that we were talking about is making sure that when departments did evaluations, that they were consistent from department to department. So, this is gonna pose, it's gonna pose a lot of time of making sure how everyone is evaluating their employees. So we're applicable, there will be multiple people from the departments, be the foreman, the supervisors, the department heads will all work on the lower level people. And then as it goes higher, we wanna make sure that multiple people are involved in watching myself, Emma, probably Adam will be involved also, so that we can make sure that what this person says is average is the same as this person over here doing a completely different job. It is average for their job, because we don't want to get into the bias situation. That's the one thing I'm most concerned about when we come to merit pay is bias. Well, so-and-so got a higher ranking than me, and I work just as hard as they do, but they don't like me, that's why I didn't get it. You can't defend that, other than saying, well, okay, we have multiple people evaluating you. So that's one of the things we will work through internally to make sure that this doesn't happen and that everybody receives ample score. I mean, Tim may say, most of my guys are 7 and 8. They work great. They're all hard workers. And then you may have somebody else over here that says, my guys are 2 or 3s. I can't get them to do hardly nothing. It's bias in the thing. So we have to make sure that we get that bias removed out. So the way we kind of said was we would do merit score based on, and we did put in the budget 3%. And I did put in here the base raise, which would be determined by commission, or merit raise based on, would be based on y'all. We put 3% in the budget. So as an average, you could say the base raise was 2.5, the merit pay is 3.5. Or we could say the base pay is, and when I say base raise, that means for the average employees. So if you're lower level, you don't get a raise. If you're mid-level, you'll get what's called the base raise. and it could be 2.5, it could be 3. And then you'll have your merit raises for the people that are doing outstanding, they're gonna get an additional 1% on top of that. Our general fund budget is 72,000 in the positive, so we can take up some of that as needed to move over there, depending on what rate y'all chose. We just did an average 3, kind of halfway between 2.5 and 3.5. It's gonna be hard to budget,
Okay.
because we just don't know for the first year.
Okay.
But I can promise you this, we'll be fine. We can make it work. What is this commission's thoughts on merit pay?
Well, I've been talking about it for years, so I'm glad to see you're doing it.
I would like,
I will tell y'all that this is at the request of y'all.
Yeah,
We do not agree with it. We do not think that, we think it's going to create more dissension amongst our people. But we will do whatever this commission requests us to do.
I would personally like more of a, across the board, this is the pay raise, and if there's a merit, it would be based on a bonus, you know, and it would be a, I don't know how you would set your numbers. The top 10% of your workers are entitled to this incentive bonus, and that would actually have people working toward the whole year to incentivize them to get that, whether that be an extra percent on top of theirs, a 0.5%.
Such as a standard bonus, like saying, I mean, we have our holiday bonuses.
we already have a holiday bonus.
Right, so on top of
It
that.
could be on top of that, yeah. It would be a standard, that way it would be easy to budget versus a percentage and not have effect pay, but just have it as a one-time payout.
But that's,
Well, and the good thing about doing it that way, I'd have to think about it, but the good thing about that is it's not ongoing. It's a one-time. So every year you would be budgeting again, where if you do a raise, you've got that raise forever and ever and
Right.
ever.
That is
it's a
true.
liability for,
So that's, especially kind of in an unknown area right now with not knowing what's gonna happen in property taxes, that may not be a bad way to go. But I mean, I know y'all don't think the merit is good. My issue always was when I was a worker and when I was a supervisor, you have some people that really go all out trying to do a good job. You have other ones that just say, I'm here, I'm doing what they expect of me, that's enough. To me, it's not fair that those two people get the same raise.
So, Mayor,
Because, you know, that's discouraging to the one that's working so hard, because they're gonna say,
Thank
why
you.
should I try? She's doing the same, she's not doing anything and getting 3%. I'm busting my tail and getting 3%.
so one of the ways we counteract that is most of our job descriptions have levels. So we have a maintenance worker 1, maintenance worker 2, maintenance worker 3. But we do assign that they have to have certain skills to be able to move up. And so people, unless you come in and like, let's say you have your CDO, you may start at a service worker 2, or if you're just coming in general, you'd be a service worker 1. Once they acquire those skills, the supervisors are required to basically write a letter stating that we would like to see them move to a service worker 2 with a pay increase because they have mastered these skills, which are all of this particular level, and number 1, and they are deserving to be moved to this for their outstanding work performance. And we do that.
Yeah, but that works in like public works.
We just work in public works.
How does that work in utility billing? They're all the same position.
That is correct.
You know,
But-
code enforcement, I know you have limited people, but you can't say, oh, well, you did so good, we're gonna move you up to, there's not an up to move them
Actually, for
to.
code enforcement, we do that based on levels, right? Phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. As they achieve their certifications and levels, they get to move up. But at some point, you do max out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like in public works, you can't have all level 3s and no level 1s,
That is correct.
because don't we allot so many of each position?
No.
No?
No, that would create,
Okay.
oh, I gotta wait for a 2 to quit before
well,
I
that's-
can be moved to a T. No.
Okay.
It's based on your own merit and how well you work. But those are ways in the low, yes, in the lower level positions, is that right? We don't have that, you're correct, in utility billing, we don't have a utility billing 1.
These are
2, or 3.
services, I mean, do you have
We could create that. I mean, we could create.
do you have it in
those.
leisure services?
Jim, what do you got there?
We have it with most of the position, ground specialist, we got 1, 2.
Yeah, we have 1s and 2s, and a lot of them, yes. We have that on his stuff. So they do have the abilities to move up as they earn their pay. But at some point, when you're good, you're good. You can't pay them more than what we can afford to pay them. No matter how good they are. You know, that's whenever you wait and hopefully, you took Tim's position. Tim, you're the first person I see when I turn, so I'm gonna pick on you the only turn.
You're gonna pick on Tim.
Yeah.
Ed, are there longevity pays, like, so you hit a certain year marks that you get a pay raise, or is a 10-year person paid the same, if they're at the same
Right now,
level as a brand new person off the
Right
street?
now, longevity pay is we give a $500 holiday bonus.
Right,
And then they get $10 for every year served,
as far as bonus.
as far as on top.
So
of
a
it.
one-year person and a
500,
10-year person, if they're at the same pay grade, are paid the same
they get the
salary?
same bonus, yes.
No, but they're paid the same base
He's talking
salary?
about, if you have somebody that just started and somebody that's been here 10 years, but they're in the same position, are they gonna make the same?
No, not at all.
Okay, so they did get longevity, each year they got,
Like, right,
They got a
we're
raise.
starting right now, let's say they get a 3% raise this year, or, and Commissioner, you haven't been here over the last 5 years where we had the issue with the standard, what they call it, labor wage, moved to 15.
Right.
We had to start making all sorts of adjustments. We were even doing, this commission did mid-year adjustments, where we gave everybody $1 an hour raise, because we had to get these things in order, and as we watched our budget, we was like, okay, we can do this now. And we got into a position to where we were ahead of that mandate, which, I don't know, when did it take effect?
Not for, I think,
The
next year?
Yeah, the next year, so
Yeah.
everybody's gotta be.
And we're way ahead of that $15.
Yeah, we're ahead of it.
We're beyond that 15, and for your information, prior to that, and Pam will remember, we had no pay raises for 5 years for employees.
We went a long time.
And David will
And we
remember
give it-
that too.
and
We
it
went
would-
5 years where we had 0 increases,
And it would be like $100 bonus.
right, and $100
That would
bonus,
be at
yeah.
$100 bonus at Christmas.
So I'm
So
not
we've come a
against,
long way.
yeah. And it could be that next year, that's what we're looking at. I don't know, we don't know,
We don't
everything's
know.
unknown at this point.
That's
Right,
it.
so, and whatever we do this year, I always look at it as a liability. In other words, it's gonna be there year
That's
after
it.
year after year after year, unless that employee quits, then we start all over with a new employee. But for the management side, they're gonna be around, and I think they're gonna be around anyways, but it's still a liability no matter what we do. However, I have to say,
The bonuses can be taken away at will, because
Yeah.
it's strictly a year-to-year budget situation.
pretty well, what major corporations are doing is about the same. We're a little high on percentage. I can speak at Walmart, they do 1%, and that's a huge corporation. So they have a big liability when they're looking at 1%. It's a bigger dollar value than our value is, so, but it doesn't matter.
But that's to that employee, that's
It
not
doesn't
very
matter
much,
if you
that
work,
1%.
if you work at a 300% capacity or 100%, you get that 1%. In other words, they kind of use somewhat of a merit, but, I'm not there for pay raises all of a sudden.
No, but isn't that frustrating to people that,
It is frustrating
people work really
because
hard?
when I started at Walmart, we had an employee making $12 an hour, and that's what, I think they hired me at 12 or 13. I wasn't there for the money, I was there for the fun. We got a big pay raise the following year. That employee that had been there all those years was making the same thing I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the company does it. They don't care. If you don't like it,
That's it.
there's the door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
so that's kind of harsh, in my, I can, but I don't think that's happening here in the city, because they're gonna have increases every year, where a new beginner is gonna be at the base rate.
Well, and don't we usually do with raises, you have to have been here so many months to even get a pay raise?
That is correct, yes. I believe it's
It's like 6 months.
Okay,
I think that's what it's always been.
that was my question.
Yeah.
The Walmart situation
Bonuses
of,
work the same way.
Yeah.
I've been here forever and we get the same pay.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Bonuses are based the same way. 6 months you get, I think you get the full bonus. I have to look at the standards. 3 months you get half the bonus. within 3 months of
Is it
start.
6 months? Did you get the full thing?
Or maybe it's a year for the
That's
full
what I
thing
was
and
thinking,
6
maybe
months
for a half.
of it.
That's what I'm thinking.
So it's a prorated
Yeah, it's
bonus.
prorated, yeah.
Yeah.
So, city manager, you're saying you want to get away from merit and go with a flat percentage across the board, is that what you're saying, asking?
I think that's going to be a much more level playing field that will eliminate potential issues in the future. Because if you really look at it, and here's a way to look at it, it's not like we're offering a ton, but on a $20 an hour person, 1%'s 20 cents. 3%'s, what, 60 cents? Yeah, 60 cents. So you're talking, difference of 20 cents, but at 20 cents, what honestly doesn't make a lot, but in the long run, there's psychological backlashes to this, to say, well, we got 20 cents more than I did. They said he's a better worker.
Well.
My supervisor doesn't like me, and we have enough of that, where it comes to bias. But, I mean, we've developed this, we feel like we can implement it adequately. We feel like staff can implement it, if y'all so choose to want to go the merit way, this is going to be probably our general guidelines. We'll just need to know what we can plug in. Can we plug in 3% and 1%? Be a base at 3 and then a 1% on top of that.
We've had, commission has had discussion quite a few times. I think the direction we gave you last year was to go to merit, but I don't know. It's up to all of us, obviously, to make up our minds on
We
that.
have a plan, we have a plan that we're ready to implement.
Right, I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see both sides.
So if you did flat rate, what flat rate raise are you looking for?
Right now, we have 3% built in the budget across.
That's what was in the budget last
Across
year.
the board, period.
Yeah.
Well, what we did last year was 2,000. It wasn't it wasn't a percentage. We stayed away from the percentage.
Yeah.
That is correct. In last year's budget, I think we did a 75-cent raise across the board. Now, that does help out our lower level employees a ton. And we're okay with doing that. I don't have the numbers for that.
Well, how many employees are there?
108?
how many employees?
200.
No, there's like 80 employees.
Yeah, and then with y'all, I think.
I mean, if you take 80 employees times
think I was
75
counting
cents an
everybody.
hour,
Yeah.
I am down there, but.
I mean, it's either 75 or 80.
Are we having problems with number of employees again? We've been down this road before.
I was just guessing off my head. We have 73 minus commission.
73 total?
No, 73.
So it's 73
Yeah, with
73.
commission, it's
Plus
78.
commission.
plus commission.
So
So
73.
78 altogether, yeah.
So if you take 73 employees times 75 cents. But then when we do that, I know it comes back and it's like, well, that's a slap in the face to my managers because that's not giving them very much. So you can't have it both ways. I mean, you can do a percentage or you can do 75 cents for everybody.
But we're not cheating our managers to start with. They get pretty good pay, plus they get their good increases by, just being here all that time. So, I mean, and,
Not all my men.
well, you caught your
Oh.
managers up to where they should be, and then they've increased since. Correct?
To see, no matter what we do, somebody's not
Right.
going to be happy.
So we had done a presentation, I think, 3 years ago, where we did X amount up to 4, 3%, depending on which was greater. And it did help out my department heads. We can work those numbers. It just depends on what the sliding scale is on our.
Well, but then you have to watch because you just keep widening the gap.
Right,
That is true.
yeah.
So I think flat rate, to me, seems fair. I mean, when I worked for Bell South, it was flat rate.
Well, but that's,
And no one complained.
I mean, what he's saying is if you do 3% across the board, 3% of that person that's making $16 an hour
I mean
is a
flat.
big difference between the 3% that a
Yes, ma'am.
department wages.
No, I was thinking flat rate, 75
Okay.
cents an hour, or $1 an hour, whatever, 50 cents an hour.
See, they like to talk in percentages, and that's, you know, every time where you talk about the cost of living, percentages of what? You know, actually,
Or salary.
if we haven't gotten to it yet, we haven't really gotten into the budget yet, but that's, when we you know, talked about our increases due to increase in water cost and this and that and the other. Actually, for years, what they did, if their water cost went up 3%, our water cost, for example, outside of the base rate, we just increased our overall cost of that water 3%, not the actual percent of what, not the actual dollars that, or cents that came from the county. And the reason we did that for so many years was that, very honestly, we're talking about now that the employees in that department is going 3%. The cost of materials for that, asphalt and otherwise, is going up. So for us to say that those enterprise funds are not going to, the cost in those enterprise funds is not going to be going up, is not exactly accurate, because it is all going up. Whatever the cost of our distribution of that water, whether it be the pipes, whether it be the gravel, or whatever it is. So for years, what the city did was just, if the water went up from the county, and of course, as I was sitting out there, I love for them to talk about percentages, because I know what percentages are and what was actually going to take place. But in our budget, we're going to be going up for 5 cents or 15 cents on that, but that's not going to, the cost of our water and the cost of our sewer is not going to be covering. It's actually going to be probably, our costs are going to be going up at least 3% or 5% or 10% in many cases, depending on the materials. So right now, we don't see that now, because we've got reserves and we're in good shape in those areas. But when you talk about percentages, I'm against merit-based, by the way, since we're talking about merit-based. I'm against that. I am totally for certification and skills, and skills increase and certifications increase. And if a person, a situation is such that they're doing well in instructing, or they're doing well in working with a group, is not a detriment to a group, but what we had in the industry is we had lead people and assistants and this kind of thing that were really, that you could actually recognize that. But in all cases, and if those are those who've studied psychology, in all cases, no matter what you do, there's going to be a negative impact for a positive action, or a positive impact for a negative action. And that's when those people that say, well, I'm not going to do it, but then Harry over here does it, the person that said he's not going to do it is getting rewarded by not doing it, and the person who actually did it is getting a negative reward of actually doing it. So, but as far as merit-based, I don't see how you can really effectively manage that. But you can manage it and you're already doing it by the levels that you go up, so-and-so class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, whatever it is. You're already doing that. In many cases, that covers a seniority in many cases by doing that. And the only time that we've really run into trouble with that particular situation is when they reach the top of the grade, because every grade has a maximum getting up there. And sometimes by actually giving somebody a $2,000 a year raise or 3% is actually taking them over that grade. And we've had to deal with that in the past.
We've had that in the fire department.
Right.
And if y'all, and we're managing that by adjusting grades.
You have to adjust it.
With like cost of living and stuff like that. And right now, I think we're really well off. We had just kind of redone all of that back when David was here a couple of years ago, I think. Pretty sure we brought the commission. I'm not sure. We did something.
But I think the way that y'all, the way it's actually being done now, and I may be certainly in a minority, but that's in my 40-something years experience with industry, you have to rely, you really have to rely on the certifications and the skill levels that you have. And it's just as simple as rewarding somebody from almost being at work every day, you know, that kind of thing. You could add some of that stuff in there, but that doesn't involve a judgment. It involves an actual quantitative statistic, if you can say that twice. So, and by the way, Adam, we won't unload on you. We unload on Eddie, and what Eddie's, and I just forewarned you, and you've already seen some of it today, I forewarned you that what he does, what he did for years, he just, David, so you won't get it, but it goes downhill.
I understand.
Well, my question to you is, since we're kind of all over the place on this pay raise, if it was completely up to you, what would you do?
I'm biased because I'm gonna take care of my employees.
Well, so,
So I would look at more of a standardized number for the bottom people to raise them up more, like a standard $1 an hour raise, and then run a percentage for the upper level employees, just to make sure that they see it. It would create a little bit, you know,
so would you be okay with $1 an hour or 2%? Because 2% of an upper, I mean, that could, it's gonna be a lot more than $1 an hour.
just let me done numbers.
Yeah, I mean, figure, I don't know what the average salary of a department head is.
I don't think we have.
That's $1 an hour for $100,000, so, salary-wise.
The numbers don't work for that. You'd be better off doing $1 across the board an hour. Because if you just took a base salary, and I'm just guessing,
And that's $2,000 a year per employee.
That keeps your structure in place too, because maybe I shouldn't tell the story, but I, constantly do something I shouldn't do. But I know years ago we had Public Works Director that after he retired, and I saw him, and when I was sitting out there and realized all this was going on, but they kept dealing with percentage, and even our city manager, even in their contract that had that whatever the percentage was that the employees got, that's what the city manager would get. Well, you take 3% of what the city manager has and 3% of what the, let's say, the lowest shovel handler gets. And over time, that kind of builds up. So this particular individual was saying, you know, he was just totally, he had to accept it. He was totally surprised that since his basic skill was a block layer, but getting the percentage every year, by the time he retired, he was, you know, making more than he fit, you know. And it was all because of the percentage. And with what we've done with this commission, and just using last year as an example, when we're saying we're giving everybody, well, what, 75 cents or whatever, but $2,000 a year, we're talking about $1 an hour now, that's $2,080 a year. It keeps everything, as long as your structure was in place to begin with. And Eddie, you've gotten the structure, your management team has gotten the structure correct, and we've had to do it for the $15 an hour situation coming up.
We're way beyond that now.
Right.
We're years behind that $15.
Right.
When we started pay increases, that was the goal.
Yeah.
And we've gone way beyond that.
But see, we had to look at the people that were making $25 an hour, and with state coming up where they only supposed to be, you know, their minimum is $15 an hour. If you raise everybody up from 12, then the person that was making 25 need to get $3 more, which would be, you know, so we've kept that in line. So that doesn't impact us, but the raise at $1 an hour or 75 cents an hour like it was last year is what I think we should be doing. I don't like percentages. I do in some cases, but not necessarily in this case.
I think personally, you should put a package together for us to look. We can talk 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. What does that impact? We haven't even gone through the meat of our budget yet, although it's a budget that's a decrease, and we have our taxes are not going up. But I would like to see what the dollar value is at 50, 75, and $100, and $1.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's 147,000.
104, yeah, right.
148,000.
And
for the
I still-
dollar an hour.
I still don't like that whole thing for the simple reason is that I don't care where you're at, be it the city or where I work or everywhere, there's always going to be somebody that's not pulling their weight.
Right.
In other words, you got dead weight, you know.
And then you got
And I know
to
city manager can say whatever he wants. I know we have it in the city because I've seen it, okay? You all have seen it, okay?
Well, in the industry, we look at it as roughly 5%.
So,
And some of the times you got that 5%, and if we question it, if you got that 5%, which you know is pretty much out there, and your turnover is only 1 or 2%, that tells me I'm not doing my job as a manager because I've got at least the 3% or so people out there that other people are having to cover them, getting the negative reward for positive action, that kind of thing.
I think,
From what I've seen from Eddie so far, dead wood gets cut pretty fast around.
Right.
So, and I appreciate that.
right.
And looking at the layout that he sent us, if you hadn't looked at it on the...
I just did.
But the layout that he sent us, I was looking at the 1, 2, 3, and even 4, and I'm thinking, why are they still working? You know?
They're not.
I'm not, you know, when you get to the 405, and then that person that's right there in the middle is just, you know, and would like to get a raise, well, get a different certification. Do something differently
Well-
that makes your skill more valuable to your department, to your people, that kind of thing.
We have that situation in our city now where some of our folks have not gotten their certification. And I'm not going to talk about names or positions, but I think city manager knows, and we all know that, okay?
Well, we know some of it for 8 years,
Yeah,
you know.
so,
That, hopefully all that is passed. I really don't want to get into,
no, I'm not going to talk about that.
yeah. If I get into that, I'll have to talk to Eddie privately.
But that's if there's somebody that's supposed to have a certification and they don't get the certification, maybe they shouldn't get a raise until they get that certification. And I don't know exactly, I have a suspicion, but I don't know exactly what you're talking about. But if somebody's supposed to have something and they were supposed to get it and they didn't,
I do have one question. So the base rate, a guy comes in at $15 an hour, is it still going to be 15 an hour, or is it 15 an hour plus what the
I
rest is?
think they're bringing them in higher than 15.
They would still come in at 15.
Okay.
Everybody's being hired at 15, so?
No, that's an arbitrary number, arbitrary number.
Arbitrary.
everybody's been hired for at
Just
least,
because we give a
at
pay
least
increase doesn't
15.
mean we.
Right.
we
You
raise
do
it.
the new people that way?
Right.
No.
Okay.
Well, I would like to see some numbers, raw numbers that, you know,
The only thing I'd like to know is these departments that don't have levels, how you're going to account for them.
right,
Like utility billing, they can't go and get a certification and get more money.
Right.
So I want to know how you're going to treat those. Now, just fire department, I know they get different certifications when they get their EMT, so they get more money when they,
Firefighter, driver, engineer. Where did she go?
he's right behind.
Why you hiding?
And they,
Yeah, I know.
so somebody,
But the flat, like 75 cents an hour,
Engineer.
that's for everyone, and then you don't have to worry about that.
I know.
Okay.
No, but they're talking about, but these people get, they, you know, just like in Public Works, they can learn something new and then they can move up. Fire department, I guess you can go for, I don't know which is the
Fire
lowest.
department already has levels.
That's what I'm saying,
Right.
so somebody can move up
Correct.
easily. I guess leisure services, depending on the job, they can move up. I mean, if it's a ground specialist, but,
I mean,
you know,
those
You-
are really easy things. We can just create levels in the areas that they're not.
well, that's what I'm saying, I'd like to know how those are gonna be addressed.
right,
Since you're using part of that, using that as part of your argument,
right,
then I'd like to know how that's gonna be carried out through all departments.
right.
I don't want somebody to be penalized, they can't move up to anything because they work in utility billing. You know, if they went to Public Works, they'd have these opportunities.
I think Bob wanted to know what
Get some figures in
50
front of us.
cents,
too,
75 cents, and $1 will cost
Right,
Yeah,
overall.
because it has more impact than just
Right.
the salary.
right.
It-
Well, it's a liability forever.
Yeah, and if we get nailed with the ad valorem thing, it could hurt. Continue that.
Well, that's probably when you start
Yeah,
eliminating positions
Right.
through attrition.
Right.
When somebody quits, you don't fill the
Okay, we have a
position.
plan, we'll get that information
Okay.
out immediately.
all right,
in your presentation, you talked about the health insurance. On our page 1 here, was saying that employee only is 100%. Now, we're covering the employee,
We cover the single employee at 100%. If you do not take our insurance, you get $100 a month paid back to you. And if you take the employee child, employee spouse, or family plan, it is a 70-30 split.
you know.
But no,
But
just,
this is different from what we did last year.
No, this is the
No.
same thing.
that's
the
exactly
same.
what we did.
This is the same thing. Last year
Right.
we were paying 100% of the employee.
right.
I thought we went away from that.
We went away from that on the employee child,
Right.
employee.
We just went single.
spouse, and family.
Single employees 100%. And then we came up with a split on,
Trying to make it equal.
And-
Right.
And,
No.
and make sure you,
It's not on every level. We have 3 different plans, and it's the base level that we pay
Right.
100% of.
Yeah, so your second.
But it's a
level-
good plan.
Right, your second level, we still pay the $655, but if it's $700, the employee pays the difference.
I just want to make sure you said, if you don't take our insurance, you get $100 a month, but you have to have proof of other
You have to
insurance.
Right.
have proof.
We don't give you the option
Right.
of not being insured. I mean, I wanted to
No,
make
they
sure
have to be
everybody,
insured.
I wanted to make sure everybody understood that. They have to
come
have
to us and
other
show us a
comparable
policy that has their
insurance.
name on it that they're going to be a part of. And we do enforce that.
Okay, the last thing I'm gonna bring up, because we're gonna have to get into the budget here, but
It's good to have a conversation.
Eddie, as far as your presentation concerning reserves, well, I'm losing track of time, but at one time, we looked for 25% reserves in the city. And I guess about that time, well, that's what we had. That's what the goal was. Then the state came up with, I guess, trying to do something state. The state got involved and came up with this 17%. We were already at 25%. So that's the way, very honestly, that's the way I've been thinking, even after I was, and this was even before I was a commissioner, that the 25% was out there, if I recall. But the reserves, well, we're at 30% now, but I want to make it clear, is that 30% not restricted does not include restricted reserves, restricted funds.
I think that's all of it.
Is it?
It's all
It's all
right.
included.
It's all included.
But if you look at the unrestricted, you're sitting at pretty close to that at the non-restricted level too. So the only restricted funds that we really carry is the impact fees. So the impact fees, they have millions in there,
Right.
but what you're really looking at is just the general operating of all those, and we're about, and I can get you kind of a rundown on that if you'd like, but yeah, we're above what the state
Right,
requires.
but if we had a hurricane today, we could not use the restricted reserves. We can only use the unrestricted. So that's where that, years ago, 25%, or that's where that 17%. But I suspect that the state is looking at when they look at your balance sheet and all, they're looking at all the reserves in there.
Well,
So you
on
got-
the balance sheet, it separates it out. So you have restricted and unrestricted.
Right.
And you can see that in the packet I gave you on the last meeting. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it'll sort that out for you. And you can see that the net position has always gone up. I mean, I went back almost 5 years, and actually, you're required to on those things. I think you go back a couple of years on the audits, but you can see you haven't used any of your reserves, and they've gone up every year. So
Right.
it's you're in a good place. I want to say right now, when I'm looking at it today, in the general fund alone, I think there's unrestricted like $6 million sitting in there. So there's plenty of funds above what we require. So if we did get hit with a hurricane, we'd be in a good position. We don't want to, but we would be in a good position. if that's
Yeah, but
correct.
you can't use the restricted reserves for that.
And I'm not talking about any of that yet.
Yeah.
Couldn't you use some of that if they applied to the restricted areas?
Well, if they applied, but they generally don't apply to it.
Impact
But
fees,
if they
especially
apply, you
if it's hurricane cleanup, we
Right.
can't use them.
Right, Commissioner, also just to make sure, when you're saying restricted funds, we're not talking about water and sewer.
Right.
Even those are in solid, even though those are technically enterprise funds, we can use those for them.
Right.
You
We
can't
just have to pay them back.
Right.
Hey, back.
You can use them to fix, you
Because
can use
that's-
them to operate for general government, but yeah, you can use them for anything else.
If you remember, we actually took, I think, $6 million out of the sewer fund and used that. And that's why that 25% number kind of went up a little bit, because if you remember, we had to go to the bank, we got a line of credit, we borrowed $8 million out of 16, and 30 days later, we paid it back. But we still had $140-something thousand in interest that we, remember this was the big deal, that's the one thing you can't apply for FEMA funds for.
Right.
And that's what's killing a lot of the cities, because they still have their line of credits, and they're paying interest on it. And you can't get that money back.
Well,
They're working on it up in DC. I don't know that they'll ever come up with it, but they're talking about it.
most of the cities, well, I'm going to make a statement, all the cities west of us is not line of credit, it's actual long-term debt.
Right.
So,
I was gonna say this for tonight, but I think it's beneficial for y'all to know this. This came from, it's the federal cost share for Hurricane Michael. It said you're receiving, and this came from the Bureau of Recovery from the Florida Division of Emergency Management. It says, on July 2nd of 2026, FEMA announced through a press release that the president authorized an increase in the federal cost share for eligible public assistance projects under DR 4399, which is Hurricane Michael, from 75% to 90% of eligible costs. We're expecting to get that money back.
Good.
Wonderful.
So how much?
We don't know yet.
It'll be a while. It won't happen tomorrow.
So, you know, you run through the immediate part of the storm, you're sitting at 100%, then it drops to 90, and then your lower level cost shares drop 75-25. I'm gonna assume a lot of it has to do with the obligation under 4399, because I've heard of quite a bit that happens where projects just didn't get done, and so they have done and it's also had a lot to do with lobbying up in Washington, trying to get more money to cover the interest. And I think that's where some of this is coming from. For us, we didn't have any of that, so we're expecting, out of all the money that we spent at the 75% cost share, we're expecting to get a big fat check.
Right. Where are we at with, we still have outstanding balances?
We have some very, very small balances.
Can you give us that figure?
That's Tetra Tech.
Adam can.
Okay, yeah. And then the other figure I'd like to see is where,
David, okay. You called him David.
I didn't call him David. You did. I didn't call him anything. I said, can you get him? The other thing I'd like to see too is where we're at with debt service. Can you send me a letter on that? I know we had a schedule. I'd like to see where we're at.
Yeah, I can,
Just send it to me.
Yeah.
Or send it to the commission.
Yeah, just-
And it'd be good for all of us to see that.
Yeah, 865,000 first of August.
Yeah, I know, but I want to see where
This came
we're
out
at.
formal memo and they sent it out, so we're not quite sure where we stand yet.
It's in the audit report.
Our PAs
Pardon?
will
Our debt
take care of
service is
that.
in the audit report
Yeah.
that we just got.
I know
I don't know if we can do it.
you're getting ready
But it
to
doesn't give
receive
them all this
an
like you're
extension of the tax.
Yeah, I'm looking for the-
Tech.
I know
Yeah.
you're probably doing it.
no,
This will be coming up, not this meeting, but in the next little bit. We have to extend our contract. Their 6 months is up. You know, we were extended. This time we will be requesting an increase because they're out of money. But that is 100% reimbursable, and we still have plenty of money in that side, so it'll be a pass-through. Which we will be seeing that.
So you need to make sure that the increase we're asking, and I know it's 100% increase, but I'd still like to know what the outstanding
Yes.
balance is, what is owed.
Yeah, we'll get that for you. I
Okay.
was just kind of prepping
All right,
for
we got off the
when I
subject.
come up. They still have over $300,000. We still have it in that fund at the state level that we can ask for administrative services. But it works off a percentage. It's just, they get 10%, so. it
Well-
won't be much.
a while ago, we talked about leaks, and this has been, and Commissioner Pelletier is well aware, we've been concerned about this for years. And I can go back 15 or so years at least, when I brought up that subject, because I did the math. I did the math of where we purchased at so many dollars, or so much, so I could tell how many gallons we actually purchased by looking at the dollars and going back on and figuring it out that way. And then by the same token, the amount of what we charge for our water, it could do the same thing, do the math, and come back to how many gallons we had there. So actually, I knew, and I think probably Bob, you did some of the similar figuring, and some others did, Pam possibly. But we could tell, here again, we're buying this many gallons, and we're selling this many gallons. We're not looking at dollars, we're looking at gallons. And some of those gallons were different than what we were selling and what we were buying. Where did they go? So one case, and I don't know if you were back then, that we actually were looking, I was told that, well, the fire department goes in and they flush they flush that, and then at that time we had a lift station out in Allenton that really wasn't being used that much, but to keep it going, we had to actually add water to it. The city came up with all kinds of reasons why we had that difference. And the bottom line, particularly now, since everything, we know basically, we actually get a report from the fire department, how much, just basically how much they use when they flush so all those figures are there. And I haven't done the math recently, but I'm with Bob that very honestly, we're losing a hell of a lot of water in the water leaks. And I'm not talking about the ones, some that I've reported that I would not report on the weekend because the amount of water that I see coming up doesn't justify the overtime of somebody coming out, But some of them are gushers and all that business.
About 5 feet high, all night long.
So I just want, those of you that are doing some of the math, that's one of the things you could do. You can actually come up with how many gallons we buy and how many gallons we sell, And I need to shut up and let's get to page 1.
Well, we do this every year.
Well, I guess, is our next thing to do equipment, capital purchases? Actually, page 2.
All right,
What have we decided on page 1?
We haven't decided anything.
No, I mean, with the,
thank you, just information purposes.
Yeah, just,
yeah,
Okay.
and we're just
Unless
waiting.
y'all plan on changing that, Laura.
no,
Well, when we go through the numbers on here, you're figuring all the numbers through all the departments is 3%, right?
He's gonna bring that back to us.
Yeah.
he's gonna bring that
No,
back.
but I mean, what we're seeing here,
That's what's figured
it's all
out.
3%.
Right.
Right.
All right, so, just looking at some of the capitals that we're looking at, 519, which is general government, we have no capitals in it. Moving on to the fire department, and the fire department has done a good job in trying to get only what's needed, and they have, and Chief, you're welcome to get in here. But you have a 4-inch hose, 1,300 foot of that.
Yeah, that's just a large diameter hose with the new hydrants that we're putting in with the larger connections. So that just helps us out in labor wise. When you gotta lay 2.5, we can just lay one 4-inch line down. That 2 1/4, with that new hotel going up, I think it's Candlewick or something, that's actually 200 foot longer on stretch. So some of these hotels like the Holiday Inn don't have a standpipe. So what we do is we want to make sure that we know the pressure that the firefighters are up there are getting. So we're actually laying that 2 1/4 up. It has hardly no friction loss and whatnot, so we're just asking for more of that for tactical reasons for that hotel. The radios, it's an ongoing process. We're still working with first gens that we ordered in 2015. We're asking for 3 more. That'll give us 21, and of course, that'll outfit everybody in the department. I'd also like to give city manager one during them events, like a hurricane and whatnot, so he can hear. Yes, sir?
Why are the radios 7,000 apiece? Or is there more?
It's just like buying a stainless steel bolt at Ace compared to,
To the county,
yeah, to the West Marine.
They're intrinsically safe, very
Yeah.
specialized.
yeah.
It's just like fire trucks that cost way too much. It's just what the industry
Like
puts us off for.
seat in an airplane?
Yeah,
Just unfortunately, that's just,
yeah.
Can I ask the question, do you have an extra? Because if I'm at the EOC, I need a radio. We're
yes,
established.
and we're still working on that training for you, Mayor.
Yeah,
Yes.
good,
Yeah, I gotta make sure I can talk to
because
you.
we're in hurricane season.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're getting around to it.
Just in case.
Yes, ma'am. Where'd I leave off?
Sorry.
Anything else? Yeah, the radios, like I said, it's just gonna outfit us, and, you know, we're gonna probably still try to budget at least 2 every other year, because I know it's such a cost, just to kind of phase out them first gens. You know, the end of life was years ago, you know, so we're making it work. We also have in here, the Explorer for Deputy Chief. His vehicle's 10 years old. And I just had it on my capital, my 5-year plan, so it's still on there. It's for him.
And so you have a Ford Explorer now?
Yes.
Does it have turbos?
The new ones that he's been looking at unfortunately do come with turbos. His does not, and I don't like it.
If you have a problem with the turbo, the oil hose to replace it is over $3,000.
Okay.
Just let you know.
And we'll get with Fleet if it is approved, you know, maybe have some other options, other manufacturers, you know, we try to streamline our fleet, you know, just try to get, you know, Felix has been real good with keeping tires for our F-150s and stuff like that, so.
Can you get a different model, or you?
I don't know.
It's a government contract.
That's not turbo?
All the Explorers, in order to get one that doesn't have the turbo, you gotta go up to what they call the ST, which is, my understanding, a significant cost increase to go to that one. That's basically kind of like their Performance Explorer, their Sporty Explorer. So it actually jumps the price up just to get to that motor.
Does it?
Do you know how much of?
Felix didn't give me a quote on that one.
10-4.
Okay.
City manager, what I'd like to see, which I ask every year, and I asked you a couple days ago,
I do not have.
I want maintenance logs on these vehicles.
I would say it's good.
That vehicle is,
If it's running good,
yeah.
is that what you're saying, the maintenance log is bad? What's the maintenance cost? Just because it's old, is it that bad of a vehicle?
I just wanted to put everything on a timeline.
Right, I
you
know, I understand that,
And
but
and that's the reason why.
And one reason why we're going ahead and doing it now is because we don't know what we're gonna look like over the next 3 to 4 years. And so, we wanted to go ahead and bring this up. Of course, it's all capitals. We
I
can
understand.
tell you what we're thinking, and y'all either.
I'm just telling you what I'm thinking also.
The maintenance log on that one, that we do not have a lot of maintenance problems with it, because
Okay.
it is strictly road driven.
Right.
It's by him.
Yeah, it's about one person, and like I said, the shape is phenomenal. It's in good shape, and we believe the resale value will be there.
So
I
we
pulled
will
up on-
surplus it and
Yeah,
sell it.
At the first budget meeting with CM and CFO, I asked if any other department could use it, if City Hall, or if you guys wanted a, you know, vehicle to have at City Hall to use. I'm just, like I said, I'm just throwing it out there.
It is a good vehicle. Mine's got.
Well,
over
that's what I always
90,000.
wonder, if it's good enough to keep for another department, why do we need to get a new one?
Explorer.
That's what I'm saying.
Explorer.
And like I said, it's, to me, it's more emergency, you know, base that we just,
'Cause
Most
it's
of the stuff that we need trucks. And you take one of these that doesn't have anything in the back and it's enclosed, it's just,
So we're gonna get like a Ford F, or Ford, whatever, 350.
No, he's getting
no,
another.
this is just for his replacement vehicle.
So another
They
Explorer.
need the enclosed
Okay.
for their stuff, so it can be protected, where
But that doesn't answer the
You can't really
question,
move- you
if it's
can't
that
move
good,
Right.
why are we replacing it?
it's just an emergency vehicle. I just want it on a timeline.
Right.
That's,
it's part of the
So
capital.
we're buying it because it's been 10 years, not
Yeah.
necessarily
Right.
because
No,
we
I
need
don't like
it.
that.
You're exactly right, yes.
Okay.
But, once again, the reason why we're bringing it now to have the discussion is I don't want to come up in 2 years and go, oh, I need another $60,000 vehicle, because we don't need to do that. With the situation where we're at now with our budgets, we're trying to keep capitals out of the way. so that we can kind of just ease back a little bit, except for what's completely necessary at the time. So
So we will sell it.
we could, yes, we will sell this
Perfect.
to recoup.
Yeah,
Well, that's it, because if we keep it, then it gets older and it's worth less.
That is correct.
So if we're-
This particular vehicle, we will definitely,
Good.
we would probably.
There's
surplus
a large
reserve.
resale on Explorers.
And we'd expect 15 to 20,000.
I was on Gov Deals yesterday, and there's one going for about 8 right now. So, I recommend Gov Deals for this.
Okay,
And we'll set reserves.
Yes.
yes.
We might have a commissioner that wants to buy it.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Not really funny.
For those of you who've been around for a while, you know where that came from. Isn't that this?
Bobby asked me about it. Bobby, let me know.
I like electric vehicles and diesels, so
Yeah, we had a,
Unless you change the rules until.
No, we ain't changing no rules.
Has the check and gets it.
we ain't changing no rules. Been down that road before.
And I still see that truck.
I was gonna say it's still around.
Yeah, it's still around.
Good truck.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, sure was.
Well, it's over 100,000 miles on it now.
Yes.
Okay.
That's low mileage.
107,000, so actually we're about only 60% of the standard mileage.
Right.
So,
vehicle?
Yeah, but.
and this is actually road mileage. You know, fortunately, we're a small city.
Yeah, it's, you know.
How many fires has he, we've been at, how many fires have we had Assistant Chief go to in emergency mode?
Oh, yeah, I mean, everything, he's there with me.
Well, I know
I
all
mean,
of
I
it.
don't have the numbers in front of me, sir, but we do.
So both of you respond to all fires?
Yes, if possible.
How many fires do we actually have?
I don't know, I don't think,
You know how many fires we had just in last month?
I'm talking this year,
Oh, this year?
yeah. Ain't but a handful,
Yeah, I mean, you never hear about it.
yeah.
You know, and joking, my guys, they put them out so fast it don't get newsworthy.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Right.
You know, I will say that.
and you'll get a lot that are just alarms that.
Right, a lot of alarms, a lot of kitchen fires.
Right.
You know,
Kitchen fire not too long ago.
right, I mean, KFC, you know, it stayed right there in their kitchen. You know, so,
Did everybody know KFC calling fire?
Yeah, you sent out an
Oh,
email.
I did send out an email.
so,
That's the only email I've ever gotten about a fire, but I did get that one.
Well, I don't know, I still have an issue with getting rid of a vehicle that's 60% life. That's my feeling.
Well, don't look at me, I'm the one that's got 160,000 on my town and country.
So, 135,000 for the land purchase, we're going to press ahead with that.
Year to date.
Yeah, we carried that over.
Yeah, that was a carryover.
Now, this year to date's about $1,600
Do we know when?
Oh, on the vehicle.
on that vehicle, on the current vehicle, yeah.
1,600? Shoot, that's a set of tires and a set of brakes, and that's it.
We take care of our vehicles, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably worth more now than the resale value.
Yeah.
So looking for direction from y'all.
I would say move forward, because we're gonna end
Yeah.
up, I keep a truck, and I've seen other cities that are driving a 2000 model truck eventually, and one, it don't look professional, and it really is, it is worn out, once you start getting all those ages. And the longer we keep this truck, before we liquidate the 2016, the less it's worth on the resale market. And that 60,000 next year is gonna be 70,000, because that's what Ford's gonna charge us, or the government.
Government contract,
Yeah, but I mean, that cost is just gonna keep getting more and more lopsided every year.
Does the 60,000 include all the whistles and bells?
yes, sir. And that is kind of high, we always kind of shoot high because we always, you know, so.
But that's all your wheel and lights, whatever
Yes.
slide out
Yes,
trays.
the stickers, lights,
Stickers on this one.
Yes, sir. Anything in particular that you, it's just
Unit
That was
extended
light package,
warranty.
graphics, everything.
everything, ready to go?
I say,
Radio,
yeah, I say get everything installed, everything.
No problem with me.
No. As long as we sell the other one quick.
Go.
Final thing on there, we are still working through the land purchase of the land down there for the future fire station.
138.
Yeah, we ran into, we're working through it. Probably say just, we're gonna go ahead and keep this in the budget. Regardless of what happens with the property tax, we can still keep the land. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward with the purchase of the land.
Well, we need to be there for whenever.
Any more questions on fire department?
No.
Okay, we'll move down to leisure services. So if y'all know tonight's agenda for the commission meeting, we're requesting to do another capital shift like we did in the water department for that new excavator. Tim had a project for about $200,000 to put lighting all out here in the sports complex. We were looking at doing solar lights. Upon more investigation of that, we realized that they're probably not going to be optimal for use here. We're going to have to do the maintenance on them. Of course, we have warranty for a while. Also, the brightness of the lights and the proximity, how close they have to be. So we talked to FPL. FPL came forward, and we actually got a little partnership with them. They're going to come out and install lights, just like the lights that are coming down Arts and Conference Center, and they're going to go ahead and loop all the way up to the sports fields, all the way around the road, and it's going to add the adequate lighting that we need out here on the roads. We're only going to have to pay for the boring, if we have to pay for that, right? That's, we haven't got a determination on that yet. We are boring?
I think, it's less than that.
Okay. So we're going to need to provide the boring to go underneath the road. We don't want to go underneath the road. But that's going to be our only cost to have these lights installed, other than the cost of electricity, which these are going to be low wattage LED lights. So it's a really good partnership with FPL. We're really thankful that they stepped up. So that being said, when Tim came for his capital budget for next year, which contained mowers, I can't remember what was on it, the wells, some locks, some additional things that we need to do for that, rather than leave this money in his budget this year, and then at the end of the year it rolls over, and where does it go? Goes into reserves. We want to go ahead and do a capital shift. We're going to get all of his budget for next year in this year's budget with that amount of money. Now, one thing is that we ran into an issue, Dennis ran into an issue with the air conditioners on this building. There are 10 units. They are more than 25 years old. They are bound to fail, and they are failing. And so we need to go ahead and look ahead for this. So Tim got a tentative quote, just for price-wise, it was about $200,000 for 10 units. We want to get his capital and then take an additional $100,000 out of that other line item and go ahead and budget and do 5 this year for this building. The remaining 5 we will do in next year's budget as his only capital expenditure, which is for $100,000 for 5 units. Of course, this is dependent on what happens tonight, but it kind of all coordinates together. We're just trying to use the money that we have in this year's budget to optimize so that we can keep decreasing next year's budget as we try to move forward and get our capital taken care of. So we'll be requesting a line item shift tonight. And then in next year's budget, we'll just need that $100,000 for the other 5 units in there for this building.
Okay.
I can't believe the units have crept along and we made it 25 years on receipts. That's amazing.
So depending on how tonight's vote goes on that, we'll determine if next time we have a budget workshop, if you have to come back and change this number.
Correct.
But as of now, you're just asking for the 27 fiscal year, 100,000 for leisure services, capital
Just for the
expenditures.
yes, just to replace them.
Did we go out for bids, or we just call someone for a bid? We're going to go out for bids, correct?
This
Since
will go out for formal bid.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
good.
We have to know where we're sitting,
Yeah, I know.
so we can just call a reputable company, and they actually donate their time to come out here and look. And it's been some, it actually came from somebody who has done work on some of the units as we've had issues with them. So they were familiar with them, and they just put it together. So we're estimating 200,000. We'll go out for formal bid, and then it'll come back to y'all to approve.
I have other issues with leisure services, but I'll hold that till we get to it. Has nothing to do with this.
I think this is a smart way to move forward, though, barring tonight's
Right.
plan.
Shall we move
This
on
one,
to?
I am putting the cart before the horse. But on the next meeting, we'll just adjust it.
Wanna move on to street?
All right, moving on to street, we have the stormwater study in there, which is now grant funded. It is a $209,000 expenditure. It will be reimbursed through the grant. It's just a pass-through, but we have to put it in there. Street is requesting a box truck. I think I have the information in front of you.
Can you get it more dirtier than what it was on the photo?
Give me what?
Can you get it more dirtier than what it was on the photo?
We could, I'm sure. I'm looking for it.
And there's no maintenance records too. I'd ask for that.
I thought we had that in there. Phil?
You need information? On the back, it shows the cost that we put into that truck so far.
Where is it?
$9,000?
Just before the pictures.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm double-sided, but
Okay.
Yeah, so we got 9329.38 in that vehicle so far.
I see.
And we do plan on having some overlap with it. We're not going to surplus it right away. This is kind of like the workhorse with all our tools, hand tools. It's also the concrete mixer pulling truck. That's probably why it's so dirty. It does have concrete on the back of it that is permanent there from Splash where they mix concrete. You can see the water tank. Like I said, when that thing shows up, it's the go-to unit on scene.
And this will also allow us to do multiple projects at once.
Yes, sir.
It looks bad, but mechanically, where are we at with it?
A design flaw with it, the cab is bouncing. The mechanics have kind of tightened up, tried to adjust the bushings and all. It's not worth messing with a whole lot anymore is what I was told. It's not going to fall off or anything. It's just I think it's a design flaw by Ford. Mechanically, it's sound. It's getting old. It's 16 years old. It does pull trailers around. It's a workhorse.
Did you say he's 11 years old?
No.
Sorry, 11
No.
years old?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a 2015.
yeah.
And this is also part of what we're doing in our departments, being able to split, because like in the street department, we do have mowing crews, we have street crews, we're running sidewalk crews. The sidewalk, street are running the same. It's just going to be able to add to us to be able to split out and do more with less. And we're not planning on surplusing it, at least not now.
So you're going to keep the
We're gonna
vehicle?
use it- Yeah, we're going to use the old one right now, correct?
Yes, sir, we're going to continue to use it with the new one. And until it reaches a point to where, you know, we will surplus it with you. I don't see that being anytime very soon. Like I said, we will have a pretty good amount of overlap with this truck.
But if it does break down in the next 3-4 years, we'll be good.
Is the new truck going to be outfitted similarly? It's not going to be a new concrete mixing truck, is it?
No, it'll be a similar truck. I don't think it's going to be quite as long as this one, is what we're looking at. We haven't picked out the exact truck we're going to get yet, but it'd be very similar to this one.
You're getting a new concrete mixer anyway.
We're asking for a large concrete
Right.
mixer to where we can do a larger amount
Right.
instead of these little
Right.
patches. We can add aggregate to it. I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's a much more beefy machine. It's not just a mortar mixer. What we have now is really more of a mortar mixer, it's not a concrete mixer.
Right.
And this is part of the repairs as we continue. We talked about we're replacing service lines. And when they go through a, sidewalk, just the other day, we had one where I think we tore up almost 25-foot sidewalk because the line ran right underneath it. And then we have to go back and we put this back together. And yes, Commissioner Griggs, the water department gets charged.
And they tear it up, they pay for it.
They tear it up, they pay for it. It took a lot to do, but we figured it out. They just mark it on the POs and everybody knows where it gets assigned after that. I mean, on work orders.
Let's see, you're already ahead of page 31, because that's my question on page 31. Where is that on page 31?
Look under sidewalks.
Okay.
I think we placed it under just straight sidewalks. Sidewalk repair. I think we got 25,000 in there on both sides. I remember that.
Now, see, you have it under sewer, but you don't have it under water.
Road maintenance, it's under road maintenance and supplies, up towards the top on page 31. It's 25,000, and then there should be 25,000
In sewer.
in sewer.
And it says cost of road repairs caused by water leaks under the notes.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that when we get to it.
All right, I knew you were cutting at me with that.
But,
Our guys are actually doing a lot more than just sidewalks.
yeah,
Head walls, we're actually building box culverts in-house that we have to. Our guys are stepping up their game a lot, but the little concrete mixer is not cutting it. The mortar mixer.
Right.
well, I appreciate Bill being honest and bringing that up, because what we are doing, those smaller mixers, we are using aggregate in there, which is actually not good for the mixers and creating issues there. So now with the mixer you're asking for, that is properly spec'd for adding the aggregate to it.
Yes, sir. And as you know, our city manager is a pusher, so we're trying to do things in-house that we normally would outsource.
Right.
And we're coming up with these tweener jobs to where they're not small jobs, but they're not big enough to sub out. And our little mixer's just not enough, and it's not enough to order a complete truckload, 10 yards of concrete. So if you order a reduced amount of load, you wind up paying a delivery fee. And we can't just leave these driveways open or sections of sidewalk open too long, so this will help us fill that gap and fill those tweener size holes quicker and get things done with a good, strong, aggregate-based concrete mix.
Yeah, and
Real concrete.
all that is particularly and be well used in Shadow Bay,
No.
And throughout the entire city, yes, sir.
What's the expected life on a mixer?
I'm sorry?
How long should you expect a mixer to last?
Oh,
10,
gosh,
15, 20 years?
Right off the top of my head, I would say 10, 15 years.
Like, how long have y'all had that smaller one that y'all have abused?
The smaller one, it's,
I mean, in a negative way abused.
just right off the top of my head, it's probably somewhere between 10 and 15 years old.
And we still got life in it, it ain't big enough, like you said.
It's not big enough.
Yeah.
And you can't put aggregate in it or else it'll just tear it apart. It's
Sure.
not, it's a mortar mixer, it's not a concrete mixer.
Right. Get rid of it.
But we'll keep it for sure.
Sure.
So we'll still have a use for it.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
On the small job. The
Yeah.
tweeners get the big one.
Sure.
We'll be looking that word up on Google, so tweener.
Between little and big.
That's there you go.
Not looking up that on the city computer. No telling what I find. And then finally, since we've talked about the mixer, street is gonna need to replace out a couple of their older mowers.
And as y'all know, they're mowing grass 8 hours a day from Easter to Halloween and just really taking a beating. And Felix and his guys, they do a really good job maintaining them and trying to keep them running and all, but as you can imagine, of course, we're not hitting debris from Hurricane Michael anymore, but we do occasionally hit some debris. It's not exactly golf course
No.
cutting.
Anybody have a question, comment?
No.
Got okay on all of them.
We're good.
Okay, we'll move on down to water. The camera system in the back truck.
It's really our Q's van. That's a typo. It's not our vac truck.
That's right.
Our Q's van, Q's is Ques, which is a name brand. It's a van that's dedicated for televising sewer lines, finding problems, et cetera.
I see
We
that.
need to upgrade the inner guts of that van to bring them up to today's technologies.
I was gonna ask, what's wrong with that back truck? We just bought it.
No,
That was my bad, I thought you said back truck.
Yeah.
So
I had it all circled and question marks and,
Yeah, same here.
I didn't know what a Q truck was.
No on the back truck, I can tell you that.
I didn't know. Oh.
and obviously replacing the fire hydrants is something we're doing to stay ahead, keep these two big guys behind me happy.
How many?
As many as we can.
Yep, and a chlorine check station out in
just
the
get
East
some?
Bay area
Just
is where our extended lines head out towards the shipyard.
How many fire hydrants?
It's on the, hold on, I can say,
You know, that's actually, the fire hydrants, that's part of like what we've been talking about with these upsizing these lines. As we're going through, we're doing that. We're adding adequate fire protection as we go. I mean, if we're gonna be replacing a line and upsizing it, we might as well go ahead and increase our fire protection.
And that allows us to use impact fees, doesn't it?
And
For the fire
If we upsize
hydrant?
the lines, we're allowed to use impact fees.
right.
Of course, you can't put a fire hydrant on a 2-inch, but it's been done, hasn't it?
6-inch, right?
It's been done before.
It's been done. We find them every once in a while.
I had a question from a citizen on North Fox. There's no fire hydrants. Is there anything in the works to do anything on North Fox,
Which portion of North Fox?
where Randy lives?
Randy.
County or city?
City.
Is that the new area?
You know who he is. He's, Eddie knows who Randy is.
Yeah. Now, from the school,
You talking
To the
about from Lisa?
subdivision.
Right.
Or 22?
It's north of 22.
Yeah.
So that's by the new
okay,
subdivision.
if it's north of 22,
No,
there's no,
it's off of Cherry.
off of
He
Cherry.
lives off of Cherry.
Never mind.
A lot of
I'll
that,
get you
Where
an
those
address.
apartments are.
Oh, pardon?
That's the road that we made two-way that used to be one-way.
Right, the road that we
Where
made
those
to,
apartments are.
okay.
and he says there's no fire hydrants. And since we're talking about fire hydrants,
Right.
is there any plans to do anything on that street?
Not immediately.
And we'd have to redo the lines?
We'd be depending on what size lines are already in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you put that on your
Yeah.
We will check it.
to-do checklist, please? I just informed the citizen that I'd be asking.
If there's a nice fat line in there and we need to add a hydrant, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
But if there's not an adequate line,
Then it's a
Right.
problem.
you definitely don't want to stick a fire hydrant on too much.
We got a
These
lake,
guys would shoot me.
we have a lake there, and the fire department has pumps.
We got floats.
Yeah.
I don't think we got floats on the, do we have floats on the new machines? Hey, Chief, do we have floats for the new engines, or is this only one out of county? We have 2 floats, yeah. You got, okay, yeah. Answer is yes.
Do we,
You don't like to do that.
Well, see, the last time we had a fire there, you actually needed all this hose that you're buying now, because,
So are the water meters, should they be on this? The 200,000?
They're operational. It's part of it.
It's a different area?
yeah,
Okay.
this, yeah. Bill, I thought we did the chlorine. Is this going to be a recurring cost every year?
No, this is a carryover.
Carryover from last year, so we didn't do it in last year's, okay, all right. I knew we talked about
We
it,
haven't used hardly any of it.
so it hasn't been done, and we're going to carry it over to this year. All right.
Yes, sir. And the Laney Road water main upgrade,
Right.
it's just old.
This is the one where we have basically the line runs from Gay through the ditch, goes to the other and tees off. And it's an old galvanized. So because we're doing the South Gay project right now where we're upgrading that, this is just one of those areas, we put the tees in and capped them off so that we can loop that whole entire road. We'll do it all in-house and we'll come back to y'all while this is, we'll request impact fees to increase that line size. And we will add more fire protection in there, because that's a straight 2-inch. That goes in there and makes a T. That's not good. We need loop systems. All of our water, we do not need to dead end lines.
Okay.
So while we went ahead and put it in there as a project, I mean, I think I judged on the previous commission meeting, we'll be coming back and talking about this in the future because it was a necessity for us to go ahead and get done. Not that it has any priority over anything else, it's just we found it and we need to go ahead and start working on these as we can. Since we have crews that can do the installation and we're gonna be increasing line size and fire protection, we can use our impact fees to cover the cost. So it's basically neutral.
And it's better to ask now than in 6 months when you say, hey, can we use this impact fee?
That's right. There's not a lot of forethought in the process of the budget. All right, and then finally, our tow behind back trailer. Bill, tell us about our current one.
The current one is big and cumbersome, and back when it was purchased, I guess they thought bigger was better, and it's great. I mean, it was a monster. It's just, it's heavy. It's, I don't have the numbers in front of me, how much the things cost us, but we will get some overlap on it. Our maintenance department is getting it back up to 100% now. The vac trailer we're looking at purchasing is the one almost identical to the one we got for the street department a few years back. They like that one. It's lighter. Even when it's slammed full, it doesn't require a CDL driver. Like I said, we will have overlap with it so that we can equip our water division guys with the machinery they need to stop these water breaks. This thing helps them out a ton.
So when you have an active water leak, water's gushing out of the ground, this will go in there and suck the water out so they can find the leak quicker and then repair it, as opposed to trying to dig around in the water to figure it out.
So the vac truck won't do that?
The vac truck does. but
Yeah.
Those are sewer. We don't use the vac truck on.
Well, you got a sewer truck and a water truck,
We
correct?
This is for the utility guys, that they can pull it over there with a pickup truck, quick and easy without a
Instead of getting the
CDL
vac truck
driver.
out.
Yeah, they wouldn't, these guys wouldn't be able to drive the.
Well, I understand that. Yeah, they can't drive the vac truck, I know.
We don't call out the Vector truck for every water break. That wouldn't be practical. You know, when they get backed up, they'll get a CDL driver to follow them.
Right.
And leapfrog and catch up.
Right.
But this is an everyday use machine. It keeps them from having to call in locates, and wait 72 hours to dig with a hoe. You're not allowed to put shovels in the ground with equipment until locates are all done. It speeds the process up. We call it hydro mining, where it also comes with a pressure washer where they can spray the mud down and wash it in there and vacuum it out and get to the problem area and fix the break.
What we're using every day now, they have some type of system today.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna get rid of that.
We're gonna surplus the big heavy ditch witch.
Right, there you are,
eventually.
ditch witch, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Eventually,
Okay.
not right off the bat.
Because I knew we had a system, but
We did.
probably not too efficient.
This is just gonna make it so that every employee can hook up to this.
Right.
And that becomes an issue, sometimes with being able to get equipment around, having to have for CDLs. And even cover multiple breaks at the same time.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
I'm okay with
All
that.
right, we'll move on to sewer. This is the SIP line. Basically, this is gonna be something that y'all are gonna see also on tonight's agenda that talks about a piggyback contract. We need to line some of our sewer systems that are starting to deteriorate. Rather than wait for them to deteriorate completely and pull them out and replace them, we can actually go in and have a machine that will go down and it will reline the inside of the pipe. It'll clean it and then it relines it, and we can get another, 20, 30 years out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the PVC pipe. It's there for, it doesn't corrode like the cast iron and all.
And this is at Sandy Creek.
All over the city, right?
Take that next line out completely.
Why, I was gonna ask, why is it at Sandy Creek?
Well, you
when we
notice
have-
it says 0, but see, that was actually supposed to be, that whole second section's gotta come out. That should have been removed as, under, that where it says, that one says necessary replacement. The $125,000, when we started looking at the cost on this, and we were calling around and Thomas was looking, trying to figure out, where we could get the best price, and should we go out to bid for it? What we found out is that because we're only talking about doing 400 foot of linear foot at a time whenever we have to do this, and trying to coordinate doing a massive project, the cost per square foot, but because we're doing such low amounts at a time, that we were gonna be charged mobilization fees and then linear foot fees. And they were just astronomically high. Well, it's APS, American Pipe. I think it's called APS is the name of the company. They're actually a local company. They do a lot of this. We were looking at some of their contracts. And as we were talking to them, they offered us to piggyback off of a contract if we wanted to. The big selling point is there's no minimum linear foot, and they're not charging us a mobilization fee. So it's just going to be a per foot charge. And we, after looking out for everything, because this contract is with St. Johns County, they were doing thousands and thousands and thousands of linear foot. And because of the size of that contract, they charged them 0 mobilization. They offered to let us piggyback off of that, which is allowable under our procurement rules. It's also allowable under the state. This was able for us to drive it down and not have to do so many linear square foot or go out per project. We can just piggyback off their contract in whatever we need. I think we told them we would, the minimum amount would be 400 linear foot at a time. That's basically between sewer to sewer. Manhole to manhole is about 400 foot on average, right now.
That's a little long, but yeah.
Which is throughout the city, has nothing to do with Sandy Creek.
No, take all that out. That next
Okay, I just wanna make sure, I gotta ask,
Mark it out.
because you put it in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, why does Sandy Creek have to do with this?
Yeah, nothing, has nothing to do with it.
I put that in there.
Take your responsibility.
That's a big accident.
Appreciate that.
Well, it was something else.
There was something else that was in there
Right.
that somehow or another got floated over, and we're not quite sure where it came from. but that should have been removed.
Okay, all right,
This has nothing to do with Sandy Creek, this is internal to the city,
right.
lining sewer pipes.
I'm new.
Okay.
And I know one thing I noticed, a lot of times the comments that are over to the right, sometimes they're last year's comment that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with this year, but it got left there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So what does SIP stand for?
Seal in place, plastic. I just made it.
Seal is-
I'm
is
gonna
made
say
it up.
seal's with an S.
Seal.
No, it's
This is
CIP.
CIPP,
Coating in place, pipe.
coding in place.
Going to use acronyms, know what they mean. It is cured in place.
Oh,
Probably.
see, that's what it is, it's right. It is-
But that's wrong,
Because
too.
it is cured in place. You're
Oh,
right.
cured in place.
Cured in place, yeah.
Okay.
It's a real
I'm kind
interesting
of curious, Bill, I'm kind of curious on this. You're talking about that they have a system that goes in and cleans the pipe.
They'll clean it prior to with like a VATCon truck. They'll clean.
Yeah.
Now, the money we're asking to upgrade our Q's van is what helps us find where we need to fix these lines. So those two kind of go together. And then once Richard Addison and his team kind of let us know, hey, these are our problem spots, then Thomas kind of decides, prioritizes them and all. And we ask for money, and they'll SIP line it, is what it's called, and they clean it to make sure it's clean so that it adheres to it. And they blow this bag-looking thing down in the line, and it basically goes in there, turns inside out. They blow it up against the wall, and there's an epoxy-type glue, for lack of better words, that adheres to it, and it's solid. It's tough stuff.
It cures in place.
So it works like a stent and it'll
Yes,
work.
Kind of.
but it literally goes in and it blows up against the outside walls. And then it cures, and then they can remove the lining out, and now we've got a pipe that's completely lined. all the way through.
How do they dispose of the cleaning side? When they clean it, how do they dispose of that?
How do they dispose of it?
Yeah, because that would be
I don't know,
an environmental mess.
I don't know what kind of cleaners they use.
They put it down the
Yeah,
drain
it's-
in
I mean, this is-
Mediala.
All, DEP, this is a major company, they're all approved, they do this all over Bay County and Florida.
It would be their insurance and their liability if they
Yeah.
have an environmental spill.
I'm not gonna make any assumptions that they're even using a cleaning product, they may just be rinsing it out.
Yeah,
Because this thing, what it does, I'm sure it adheres to the outside, but it adheres to itself and becomes a solid. Even if it didn't adhere, it's still gonna put pressure against itself, just like a 2-inch pipe would, or a 4-inch or a 6-inch.
Yeah.
It's just a way to keep us from digging everything up and replacing lines ourselves.
Right.
This is just a great tool, because that's the last thing we want to do, is start tearing roads up, digging up, replacing sewer lines.
And have we used this process in the city before?
Not that I'm aware of.
No,
not, we have, but it was in stormwater. Same thing, bigger, different, but they do it all over the place. It's,
This is not a new technology.
No.
It's just new to us, new for us to utilize it.
it's new to me. Okay, I'm okay with all this.
All right, we've also put in, for a bypass pump, we always put in for a bypass pump, because we never know if someone's gonna break. It's just, we've done, last year, we put in 2. We put in for 2, because we really thought we were gonna have 2, but that was because, we're doing all the lift station upgrades right now, so we just keep a budgetary line marker in there for that. Same thing for, a spare lift station pump. Those are the pumps that are submerged in the bottom. They're submerged in sewer. We never know if one's gonna burn up, and we just keep that in there as a placeholder to be able to replace pumps as needed.
So not buying right now, just
No,
budgeting in case.
that is correct. And these are capitals. We cannot use them for anything else
Right.
without coming to you and asking you for permission. That's why last year we came, or earlier this year, I came to you and said, let's do this, and not buy these two pumps. But we keep one in there, it's just a placeholder, it's a money holder, but if we don't buy it, I can't use it for anything else. And that takes care of sewer. Solid waste, we're sitting good. Don't need a truck, not asking for anything.
So really, that claw truck shouldn't be showing there.
That's last year.
That's a,
That's what I
yeah,
thought.
that's a add-on.
Because there was no money for that, so I thought that's just a carryover.
No money.
That's what happens when you rush.
Yeah.
Rushing.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had a speech prepared for that.
Yeah.
Mayor, have any?
All right, so one of the things that our caveated finance director forgot to put on there was in 519, we are asking to get a new truck for code enforcement. What this really stems from is our two utility billing trucks that we currently use. We have been experiencing issues with some of them, and when they go down, we have no other spare trucks. The spare trucks that we have are basically in the water department. Bill, you may want to come up and talk about how old, nasty that truck is, our spare.
Hold up.
And
You driving?
Huh? Yeah. So, we really have one spare truck right now. It's being utilized mostly for locates. So we're technically sitting where the city really doesn't have a spare truck that can float around and be used anywhere else. And so, one of the issues that Bonnie has after we were discussing, I hate to buy a new truck for the utility billing guys, because right now, we're hoping we can continue on. They are in their trucks all day, they run all day. We had air conditioner go out in one, it was down for a week and a half, and it was miserable. For these guys trying to do their job. This has been an ongoing issue with utility billing over the last several years of not having a spare sitting up there. But rather than buy that utility truck sitting there, one of Bonnie's issues that she has when she's out is because of all the notices, the amount of workspace. And Bonnie, you're welcome to come up and discuss anything you want to discuss. I mean, everybody else is getting a turn, let's let you get a turn.
Well, I basically just have my passenger seat and floorboard to put my stuff in, and I carry all kinds of stuff in my truck, cleaning supplies, sanitizers. I carry blankets because I sometimes pick up stray animals and, coordinate with animal control and stuff like that.
And Bonnie works out of her truck, that's one thing, it's kind of a mobile office for her.
Yeah,
She has her iPads and everything that she does everything on. So she's technically in the field all day long. So we looked at going ahead and grabbing an extended cab for her, taking her truck, move it over as a spare up at City Hall. It can be utilized multiple ways. For one thing, currently right now, we go to the bank daily, we also go to the drop boxes on a daily basis.
And Lisa has been using her personal truck for that
Personal vehicles for that.
for a long time.
And so we could have this, it would serve as a vehicle to be able to run the city errands that we have to run in. And then also, if we do have one of our UV trucks go down, they would have it as a spare. I know we recently just had an issue to where one of the trucks went down completely. And it was, how long was it down for? No, I'm talking about before that. Yeah. Yeah, it was a week and a half we were without a truck, and so we ended up we stole Bonnie's truck.
I happened to be out of town that week, so it worked out.
Yeah, we stole her truck. It really got to the point to where there was, when we were calling around, we just didn't have any spare trucks. Tim, I tried to steal some of Tim's trucks, he didn't have anything available. So we're looking at going ahead, getting her more room because she's in a mobile office. That'll give her the additional room in the back, and then we'll use her truck as a backup for utility billing and our general errands.
You're talking about a 250?
No, it's F-150. F-150.
I'm just looking at the paperwork you gave us.
I don't think we
I don't think there's
Yeah,
we
anything
didn't get
on
any
that.
We need to go back on that.
I think the only thing we
Haven't
got was
seen
that
anything
box
in
truck.
that.
I think Public Works box truck.
Oh, we don't have
is
information on it, okay.
That's the only thing we got.
I was gonna make you a copy of this.
So how much is this one?
42.
120.
42,120 out the door. Off-state contract.
So it's the same size truck,
It's an extended cab
extended cab,
versus the single cabs. That'll give her.
four-door versus two-door.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. As far as the general running around, the fire department has a vehicle that'd be good for that.
I agree with
I
that.
did think of that. The problem is I can't, the UB guys won't be able to use it.
The what?
If utility billing, if the tax, which is what I'm more concerned about more than anything. The being able to go around errands, that's just a bonus. But really what it's for is to keep us from having to, because they can't put their, I mean, they could throw their tools in the back of that thing, but it's gonna get nasty.
Yeah, no.
And they carry a lot of stuff. They have to carry the boxes and all their parts, shovels, and it would just get thrown in the back of that thing, and that's just not a viable situation.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, you can buy liners. I mean, I have a liner of mine, I throw all my
And I
dive
can
gear.
let you come up on Friday and clean it too.
Yeah, no problem.
It's a mess, I'm telling you. There's a lot going on. It's not like what you think. They come in.
That's why you
if it's
got a
raining
maintenance
and wet,
department.
It's nasty.
Well, you know, rainy and wet, but I don't see any dirty trucks in leisure services.
Tim, you need to, I'm gonna reassign you to meter change out. Okay?
That finishes on equipment.
Yes, ma'am.
We're just adding. What is that gonna do to our numbers on that, on the budget?
It's already in there.
It's already in there?
I just forgot to add it to
Yeah,
this
it
sheet.
just wasn't on the front.
So does that bring the total for city budget to 1.3 million? 16?
Page 16?
No, page 2. Page 2 still. The total city, total
Yes.
1.3.
That's cap.
Yeah.
Cap.
And these are all included in
Capital,
that.
yeah.
This is just capital, it's not city budget, it's a capital.
Well, it says total city budget.
No, that's capital.
I know, but that's what it says.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Okay.
That's not total city budget, it's total
Yeah, I
capital
was gonna
budget.
say, it's kind of low.
Hey, y'all never caught that before, and David's had it in there for
It's
9
always
years.
been like that.
Really? We call that now?
Well, I tell you, if nobody has an objection, since I said I would let our public speak, okay, does anybody have any comment up to this point? Anybody want to say anything? I just want to give anybody an opportunity, so we'll just keep plowing ahead then. No, he said no.
Don't just lose his word.
Well, in 2 hours, we finished page 2.
Hey, I think
That's
that's
pretty,
better than we did
that's
last year.
typical.
Last
We
year,
did
I
pretty
think
good.
in
It was
3
longer
hours,
last
we
year.
didn't get through page 2.
We didn't get through page 2.
So, we can actually,
Yeah.
do we need to do page 3?
Probably the best thing to look at would be to jump to page 5.
Yes.
This is just a quick overview of what you're looking at in your budget summary. Which basically, right now, our general fund is gonna be a positive 72,000. CRA is at a negative 89,000. That's really a lot of that. You gotta remember, we're doing, what project we're doing? Yeah, the spillway. So we'll have half of the pass-throughs in there. The water and sewer, those negative numbers, and we've never really got in and talked about this, but we rebalance these when it's all said and done. But that's really has a lot to do with the meters, where we said we're putting extra money in to put meters, to use meters. So So while right now, your overall, your budget's sitting at about a negative 117,000, we reallocate at the end. We also do not have the proper revenues in there, so we have budgeted revenues low,
You won't have
lower
that.
than expected.
Yeah.
So when those numbers come in, I'm sure we'll probably flip-flop all this. It's just, when you're dealing with a $55 million budget, 171,000, it becomes a negligible number in the overall total. You want to take a break, or you want to jump into 6?
I'm going to make a comment on, at least on 3, but it relates to the interest. And it's really a positive comment because I look at what the interest income projection for, you know, in revenues. Eddie, prior to, actually prior to you, we paid our banks to keep our money. And it was, you know, as we were sitting out there, several of us were sitting out there, it just seemed so ridiculous that we were doing that. And until we made certain changes,
Starting to change banks.
well,
No, we have
changing people, changing personnel.
change of people, yeah,
Change of people,
and attitudes.
yeah, right. And it, I mean, when we think about what we had then, I mean, not only were we not drawing interest, but it took us 2 to 3 to 4 months to even reconcile our checking accounts. You know, so it's, I'd say that the interest is down, which means, you know, whatever reason the interest is going to be down. But when we're looking at least $347,000 in interest.
1.2 million this year. So I do have a question.
The bank was taking advantage of the city.
Yeah.
Oh, big
We
time.
recognize that real quick. I mean, I've even checked with Adam, and Adam's never seen the city that didn't run a sweep account. And we had just changed the city over in Arkansas that I was at, we just changed them over into sweep accounts. And it was becoming a common practice. And when we got here, and me and, why am I paying the bank $1,500 a month to keep $20-something million of my money? That makes no sense.
Right.
And so, they fought me at first until I gave them the proposal from Community Bank. And then they changed their mind real quick.
And two, I just want to point out that we actually, well, talking to him, we actually lowered this. This could come in a little higher, but because we have all these pass-throughs, we have to pay this money, out front, some of these grants that, I try to take that into account. But this could come in a little higher. This is a very conservative estimate on that.
No.
So what's the interest rate?
Whatever the money market account is.
No, that's not good enough.
Yeah, I can get it for you. Actually,
Okay.
I looked at it today and I can't remember off the top of my head.
3.5?
It's probably about 3.4, I think.
3.4.
About 3.5.
Okay.
Jenny hovers around mid-threes.
So I do have questions on this page. I know we skipped right over it.
On 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We have a lot of variations in here from last year's budget. The first one was,
Well, first off, remember, this is a reflection of everything behind it.
Right.
So in other words, this is just the summary sitting at the top.
okay,
And
why
it
don't you just,
self-populates from each individual.
why don't you just walk through it then? Instead of me asking a question about each thing. Why is ad valorem up 44.8%? Why is other property
Remember, first
taxes?
mistake,
Huh?
right?
Well, you're adding in there, when you add that, you're adding in there the 27 and the 3 million, but you have to understand what 500 and something out of that 2769 is going to go in there, so that number is going to obviously go down a little bit. So that's not a gigantic is income. It's still income.
Right.
Until you move it. So that's what that is. So when you look at it, it's going to go down. So it's not 44%.
So when I see the total budget at almost 5.8 million versus 4 million last year, how did we get up so high?
Well, the property taxes have, obviously they've gone up a little bit. We're at 2.7. So I want to say last year, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, I think it was like 2.3. So we added another 400,000 roughly. I have to give you those estimates in there. So, but then you keep in that 500,000 in here because again, it's revenue that's in this general government, but that's going to come out and go into the CRA fund. So
Right.
that's why it's so high. But you're also talking about the $1 million, 1.074 you're getting from the county, which last year was like in the $900,000 range.
So about
it's all gone up.
extra 400,000 there. But I just want to make sure we're not making a mistake.
No, so this number populates after I put all the information from our DR 420 and our DR TIF in there, and it calculates it itself. So this number came from what I would do anyway when I go in there and take our number divided by 1,000, take off 95%, and then times it by the 2.70. So, and I've done that myself, and it come out the same number. So, and this is the number also that is on our DR 420 that we got from the county.
Okay. I see our permits, fees, and licenses went down 19%.
Yeah, so just looking at historical from what we did last year and stuff, we made those adjustments where I think that we're gonna fall a little short in some places, so just kind of keeping up with what I think and me and Eddie went through these line by line, and we just think that.
We try to be conservative.
Yeah. Now, it's possible they'll go up, but what I'm seeing as of right now, we're not, we're not doing, there's not a 3% increase like there is in some areas we have. So.
How about special impact fees and special capitalization fees?
So that went down because we had a lot of places that were building this year pay their impact fees up front. Is that correct? So we had a big boost of income.
Last year?
Or this fiscal year. So
This year.
So
Park Place prepaid their impact fees.
so we of course try to be conservative on what's building this year, and things like that. So this number can go up and down, but like I didn't want to put another $1 million in there. We only get 600,000 in that one.
Okay.
Conservative revenue
Yeah.
numbers. That's really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we're going to spend, we're going to balance it out, we're going to spend what we get.
It's better to build off of a conservative revenue than inflated revenue. You know what I'm saying? Because then we're
I totally agree.
everything.
I just, I see the big percentage changes, that bothers me a little. Possibly can make a mistake and then we end up in the negative. So how about fund balances / net position? What does that represent?
So your fund balance and your net position is kind of what you expect to increase your fund balance. Your net position is how much money you've made. So basically, you take all your balance sheet, and your net position is what you've done versus your revenue versus your expenditure. So this is kind of what you expect to see changing in there. So.
And that was down 47%.
Yeah, so it looks like, so in your CIP fund, so the CIP fund was one of those things where we had a bunch of those grants, we had $10 million in grant revenue, but we had matching in that as well. So this is something that we put in some reserve money in there. It doesn't mean we're gonna use it, because there was also $7 million put in there last year we haven't used, and don't expect to use it, because we're not gonna we're not gonna finish all those projects this year, so that money's gonna roll over, so much is rolled over into next year. So we put that in there because that's really money that we're saying, hey, we're gonna match, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna match it this year. It's just based off of how much actual work we get done. So that's why I went down. That went down because, again, last year it was like a little over $7 million that was used, so we were able to track that down a little bit.
Okay.
And then this 125 in the water fund, that's impact fees. It's gonna go towards that Laney Creek thing. So we're using 125,000 of that Laney Creek, or we expect to. Again, it's not saying we're going to, but this is to help cover that cost of that project. And same thing in the sewer fund.
Okay.
For the projects we got going on.
Okay, great. That was the scary parts.
else has anything, jump in. You up to page 6?
Yeah. Does anybody need a quick break? I said, does anybody need a quick break?
No.
No break.
We're saying about half an hour, we'll be taking, not a long break, but
I'm still good.
do you need a break?
I'd like to request a 2-minute break.
Well,
So granted.
We've been sitting at our desk. Just gotta run the bathroom real quick.
you've been sitting here too. Well,
Adam, you
Ron,
go away, I'll go this way.
you busy.
So all you're figuring, if we were off the meeting,
I wasn't really talking about you.
I'm ready.
They need to get seated down there. You might can get through page 6.
was grant money added in to match that other CRA.
All right, we ready?
Yep, we're at page 6.
All right,
Or do we need to do page 6?
all right, just really quick, I want to make a quick statement. Tim's budget for leisure services, if we do not get to that today, which I don't know that we will, Tim is not going to be at the next meeting, so if we want to look at his budget today while he's here, in case anybody has any questions, we might want to just move over and take a quick look at it.
What page is that? What page?
We mean he's not gonna be here next meeting.
You authorize leave during the budget?
If he's not here, he can't defend his budget.
I know, that's why I said.
Sounds like zero to me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we wanna get into that in half an hour.
Yeah,
What's that?
well,
Well, there's a lot of issues I have with that and a lot of questions, on leisure services. And, we're jumping the gun. But
It's just a department, but,
And we may not get there next time either, right?
I mean,
I don't know, it's up to,
it doesn't matter to me.
to make sure I've made y'all aware of that, so.
I mean, if you have a lot of questions,
I don't have a lot.
Okay.
I'm asking, I've got a,
I'm still trying to figure out what page.
22.
22 and 26.
6.
Well, does anybody else have questions on leisure services?
No, particular.
You want to go ahead and ask your question?
well, how many other sections, Eddie, that we have? I keep on seeing equipment rental and, we went through that with the tractor and why aren't we buying this equipment instead of leasing it?
Well, a lot of times it may be something specialized that we don't need or wouldn't use as often.
Right?
Tim, what are some of the things that come on, you come up.
Yeah, like one thing is like a sod cutter that we'll use several weeks out of the year, but then it would sit the rest of the time. And if we don't start it regularly and everything, gas gets stale and it ends up, so that's one of them. When we redo the back parking lot at soccer, we have to rent some equipment that, heavy equipment for grading that parking lot. Excavator.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
So it's nothing we can buy?
That attachment.
Right.
The street department used.
Or it doesn't make sense to buy it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just,
that's what
it
it
just,
sounds like.
But it's just things that wouldn't make sense to be sitting,
Okay.
a good part of the year.
Okay, then, under promotion activities, we've been averaging less than 20,000, we're budgeting for 50,000. Again, I keep on asking, why do we over budgeting by 100% in that line item?
well,
Promotion activities. We have not spent more than 20,000 in the last 5 years.
we
So
are,
why are we budgeting 50,000?
well, number one, we constantly want to expand. We are going to be adding the amphitheater, and so we're going to want to be able to have events out here. And if you want to bring in anybody that people want to hear other than local bands, it's going to cost us.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying, in my mind, again, I just look at that issue, that's 30,000 you can use somewhere else. Buy that new vehicle that Bonnie wants.
Most of it, yeah.
Well, it's just my feeling.
If we want to do events and we want to expand things, we need to be able to have a line item to be able to use it for us. That's really what it comes down to. And Tim is constantly, we're always expanding and trying to do new things.
If we need to cut next year, we know where to start.
We have plans to expand on certain events. Not gonna bring it up, and we'll beat up over it.
When we talk about expanding since we're talking about leisure services and you know, there's been an issue with, and we kind of recovered with the 4th of July flags, but if we have a vendor that wants to donate flags, why are we denying that? You know,
What are you talking
Mayor?
about? You talking about?
flags on Tyndall
Like
Parkway.
Newbauer putting flags on Tyndall
They
Park.
can't have their
I'm
advertisement.
Why?
pretty sure that, I mean.
Can't see it.
Can't see it.
We found the minutes from a meeting, I don't know how many years ago, that this came up.
Yeah, but why, I mean, why are we denying money from a vendor that wants to provide
Well, I
flags?
don't know that they've approached us about doing it since.
Right.
And that was before any of us were on
Right.
commission.
He has never approached me about doing anything out there. I do know by reading the minutes that the biggest reason was because we don't allow snipe signs. So just because it's an American flag, it's got his name on it, it would still take commission approval. Because that is advertising, and you're advertising in the right of way. So you can spin it however you want, but it is what it is.
Well,
That's never came before, in 9 years, I've never had this issue.
right.
One of the things that me and Tim have talked about is, you can bet from now on, we're going to get ample larger flags that are going to
Right.
be on Tyndall.
Well, of course, somebody stole some of our, borrowed some of our flags, right?
Miss,
Yeah, all right,
Miss
and
Lang-
that happens with most anything we do. We try to keep everything, but we lose things.
Miss Langston would like to say something, but you're going to have to come up here to a microphone. Since we're getting close to the end, I'll let you go ahead and have your 3 minutes.
If you choose.
Please. One time.
Teresa Langston, 6031 Lance Street. I used to work for ERA Newbauer.
Uh-huh.
I've counted them flags, I've toted them flags, I've put the flags out. His name is not on those flags.
Right.
It's been several years since I worked for them, and they order them from a company in big boxes, and they don't put the name on the flag.
I didn't think so.
No.
When I saw them out there, I didn't see
I am
anything.
only referencing what was in former commission meeting minutes, where this came up. I have no idea. It was way before me.
But,
Nobody's ever came up and asked, can we put flags out?
No, because they automatically do it for
It
years.
never came up.
Well,
as far as-
we see them frequently. I'll ask them, do you want to put flags on Tyndall Parkway the
Right.
next holiday? And see if they say, we don't do that anymore, or if they say, we'd love to.
right. And if,
Well, I would like to see better than the little bitty flags that were out before. I think, and that was, me and Tim have had that discussion about purchasing. and-
as long as we do it,
Yes.
because, you know, we've had celebrations, I mean, we're right, I don't
We've
have to
got
tell you where
Veterans
we're
Day
at.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Veterans Day coming up.
Why don't we just do both? Let them do the little ones and we'll do the big ones.
But previously, nobody did the flags
Right.
in the city. So, you know, they've done it for years.
We've done it back here ourselves. On Tyndall Parkway. We've done it small.
We used to have small ones that we put out.
You can't do as many because of all the landscaping,
Right.
but we've done them for, you know.
Because I've only seen the ones that Newbauer has put out, because they do it, you know, up to so far, and then they do it down into Parker too, because Parker don't do it as well.
I'll ask them.
I don't know if you've ever been doing them.
I'll let them, next time they have something where they're at, I'll probably see them, I could see them this week. I'll
I
ask.
think the best way to look at this is that we recognize, and we're going to, next time you're going to see a much better presence, and we'll map it out and have where we're going to put them at.
Sounds
That's the
good.
easiest way to do it. Just let us handle it internally, and don't worry about anybody donating flags. We can get our flags and put them out there. And estimate loss of,
A few.
Okay.
But the one big question I had is, are we doing away with our building maintenance position to create a new position within this department?
no, okay, so.
You took the expense out.
In the past, when we originally did this, building maintenance was in leisure services. This was many, many years ago.
Right,
When we expanded it for everybody, David split the position between the general fund and leisure services.
right.
It's still the general fund. It's still in there. So This year, rather than trying to do the cost splits and everything else, we just put building maintenance back to 100% underneath Tim's budget, and it's fine.
But you're adding a new position there, and you didn't declare it all front, you just snuck it in.
The note is incorrect.
You snuck in a new
See, that's
position.
what I said, some of these are last year's comments.
And I will tell you, in this, just the very first note is incorrect. It should just say employees, 18 full-time.
18 full-time employees,
Yeah,
okay.
no new board cars unless,
Because I had,
you're not splitting with general gov, all that's gotta come out. It's just, there are 18 full-time employees, that's
Yeah.
it.
No, there's other comments.
and the maintenance is going again, Rick? Back?
Maintenance is included in those 18.
Okay,
Yeah, so we have two maintenance positions.
okay, all right.
It gets cumbersome trying to track splitting salaries,
Well, I understand that.
especially when it's in the same fund.
It's all in the general fund.
That's the way it was set up to start off with.
So we just shifted everything over to Tim and leave it there. Quit worrying about all these internal transfers between line items and different budgets. It's a nightmare. Because it's all out of general government.
Yeah.
Under IT software and equipment, there's nothing there. Should we have 8,000 for next year?
Yeah, it's in other current charges.
I think we put that under.
Other contractual, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's under other contractual.
Other contractual,
Civic plus annual dues, we had.
Civic plus annual dues is there.
303,
That's where we put all of the,
all the different contract things.
all of our contract issues are all under other contractual service, because it's a contract.
Interesting.
We've always done that. As far as IT goes, that's, all of his equipment is up to date and everything's great. We look at that as in computer systems and everything else, hardware that we use.
But it says software, so that's,
Okay, I came back down to ground zero. Well, it just upset me to see that there.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the beginning.
What are you trying to do, slip one in on us?
So what we'll do is, we will readjust, even if we don't change anything or whatever, we will still readjust, reprint, and get new ones out to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix all these, so but again, it was very, I did this in a hurry, so there's no excuse, but still.
Could you do one thing, that page with the equipment, can you increase the
Right.
font a little bit? That's really hard to, either that or buy us a magnifying glass.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Yeah, the capital equipment,
I just
it's,
bought 2 pairs of glasses, I can.
it's very small.
Let me quickly just give y'all, just a quick background. This budget that you see in front of us is one file.
Yeah, I know spreadsheets.
There's literally 40 tabs
Right.
in the spreadsheet that you see. Another 5 or 6 that we run for checks and balances, where the whole entire system checks itself
Right.
to make sure that we stay in budget. Adam inherited that. And he,
With no notes.
with no notes. And so we spent a lot of time tracking formulas. Just, if anything, it was a great way to double check what was going
Yeah.
on. And it was. And we found some things, you know? But we'll work our way through it.
we're here to help.
That's where the grace comes in, give me a little grace, you know. Yeah, I apologize, there's no horticulture
Okay.
person.
Well, you're
All
doing
right.
good, you're doing good.
Good, don't have to fight then.
Okay, good.
Is that, are you good with leisure services now?
Yeah, I'm fine with
both
that,
of you?
yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I have with leisure services that I'd marked is the 50,000.
Right.
And,
I still think that's over budget.
well, so do I, but I'd rather have it that way. Plus, we're constantly looking, what can we do to improve our position in the county as far as in leisure services is one of the areas that we can do that. We're coming up with the health fair, you know, is the next item, Saturday, and all that. And if something comes in later, I'd rather have it, the money in there, potentially in
If
there.
I present you with a balanced budget, If I come back and
Well, I
ask for
understand
something,
that.
I'm gonna ask you to give it out of reserves. And I
Yeah.
don't want to.
That's
have
why I'm
my
not
first
jumping on the
vote
diet since it's a
overruled.
balanced budget. I understand that.
Yeah, this way if we.
I still gotta argue, can't just give it to you for free.
Yeah, I agree, I'm fine. I accept the brief.
You let him give it in the end, but you got to think about it first.
You know, he doesn't know.
You know,
He doesn't know.
I've learned a lot.
I told him, I said, are you ready for this? And he goes, why is everybody so uptight about it? I'm like, just get ready for it, man.
Actually, it's been very calm today. Everybody's, it's been really agreeable.
And back and forth.
I stand by that.
look, it wouldn't be a good budget if I don't fuss, okay?
Well, I will tell you with the promotional,
Oh, yeah.
we won't squander that money. I mean, we look for things that are good value. I mean, we're gonna have an amphitheater, we might wanna do a concert series. But if we do anything that big, we're gonna come back to the commission to make sure.
Yeah, we trust you, you do a great job, and appreciate the way you guys took that 200,000 and spread it out,
We can do movie night in the fall.
fix things.
That we
Yeah.
could do, we'll partner with the sheriff's office.
What, we'll talk about at commission meeting about all that, that's okay.
Yeah,
I wanna stick to the
and
budget.
Tim, you do, a lot of these projects, I'll give the example of the Fish and Rodeo.
Need a break for.
So many sponsors coming in on the Fish and
Not as long as last.
Rodeo.
It won't be.
I don't have any-
We don't have to buy the fishing rods, the sponsors are doing it.
We don't want to talk too
In fact,
much.
we almost didn't think we were gonna get that grant for fishing reels this year, so it would have come out of,
Would have come out of that 50,000.
but we did manage to squeeze out and get, how many did we get, 200?
Yes, we got 200.
Not 200, I mean, just because we come under budget, don't mean we're not working to try to stay really far under budget. And so, talking about the fishing for the fishing reel, we thought this year we weren't gonna get the grant.
I heard you.
Well, they were gonna give us 50.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did a great job.
Somebody I know
Those
from 40
adjustments
years
and,
ago that I talked to, that
Let's
we
adjourn.
got it.
Right.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes, well, I wanted to, did anybody in the audience have anything else they wanted to say?
No, we're just gonna get a new outlook on what's going on with pay raises, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're gonna spiffy up some of these notes on the budget.
Give us more time to look this over
That's
more
right.
thoroughly.
Yes, we will have
Yeah, because
multiple options. When is our next meeting?
that's what I was just going to ask. When's our next budget
2 weeks or
workshop?
something.
It's in 2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks?
August 12th.
August 12th.
Yeah.
By the way, page 37 and page 38 are duplications, at least on mine. They're duplications of page 35 and 36.
I heard different.
35 and 36.
37 and 38?
37 and 38 are the same as 35 and 36.
Now,
That's solid.
one more page.
Solid waste.
Now, that page is the same as that page.
All right.
Very much. Something more to mess with.
And that means this page.
37 and 38 are duplications.
35 and 36, yes.
It's that important.
You can save 2 pages.
Two less pages we have.
2 less pages, yeah, that's right.
Well, you print them out separately, so I stuck them together, so it's very possible I printed out, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'll look at it, it didn't add anything to it, but I'll look at it, so yeah, it's possible. But see, this is again, can't rush this kind of thing, you gotta give me a little.
That's right.
But I'll fix it.
Can't screw you.
I'll take it easy on you this time.
I forget, next year you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. You better start working on next year now.
If nobody has anything else,
Nope.
we will adjourn, and we're back here.